Well, I do want to apologize to you, IKECHI, even though you don't want to talk in private.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Listen, it's super panel time. Super panel time. Listen, we're going to talk to you guys about Mad at First Sight episode 18. It's been crazy. It was mad. We saw Emem and IKECHI and Brandon. This situation is crazy. Like, I'm actually really looking at the situation. I'm looking at how, Brandon introduced himself to IKECHI. I'm looking at the fact that IKECHI rejected Emem's apology, or at least attempt at an apology. I'm looking at the fact that IKECHI was a bit pressed. I'm looking at the fact that it felt like Emem was trying to make him feel pressed. And I'm like, why are you concerned about what he feels about the situation? It's done. You know what I'm saying to you? We had a whole situation with Michelle thinking that she had won the battle when really she lost the war. Michelle, it's time to let it go. You know, it's time to let it go. Sis, you lost the war. The whole time, all Michelle really cared about is that she came here and it felt like she left with nothing. Yeah, well, sis, you left with nothing a long time ago. Why are you still fighting this situation? Like, it's not like you just recently lost with nothing. You were losing it with a long time ago. You didn't want that man. You didn't want this man. You didn't like him. You didn't even want to. And that's why I think it was so petty of him to go on that date that he went with with Madison to go and do the tattoo, which is actually a date that he was meant to do with David, right? But she didn't get to go in the end because you didn't like that man. Not a hope and a chance and a prayer. Okay, sis, let it go. And then obviously we've got JUAN and KARLA. Can we be honest? I think this is why I said that the experts didn't hold them accountable. So JUAN wants to be friends. So if you guys were so good friends by the end of the show, KARLA and JUAN, why is it that now when JUAN is saying let's really be friends at the end, you're telling him almost to get lost? I thought you guys were good friends. I thought you guys would have such an amazing connection. So amazing how you guys are just able to talk it out, and we have this. Yeah. That's the whole reason why I wanted you to be pressed. I wanted you to answer questions. It's why I wanted experts to get on your butt, because it made it look so easy, but really and truly, you guys had surrendered your weapons down, and you were actually annoyed and hurt. So you guys are being more passive than anything, right? Not that you guys were, not that you guys were literally better, but rather just because you guys weren't pushed. And that's why I said I don't understand what the experts were looking for. The excuse of the other couples were making noise doesn't wash with me. Because you're an expert and you're supposed to be there helping the other couples. So when they come into your pathway, we should be asking questions. Simple as that, right? Simple as that. I mean, I don't know why one was. Well, it's funny because one was really trying to be friends after, like really trying to be friends, like trying to say, yeah, I don't mind you, seeing you once every. I was like, one, why do you even want to see her once every? What for? What do you want? And then obviously we had Thomas and Camille, and let's be honest, I felt a bit better this week, because she brought the lingerie, okay. She brought out the lingerie freaking ray. Okay? When you bring out the lingerie, I hear it. And so Thomas finally conquered, got him some lingerie time. And I guess, she found him more attractive this week. Now, I don't know if you guys clocked it, but the previews for the next show that's going to come up, is it not interesting? Is it not funny? Is it not amazing? That this guy had a line through the side of his head. I said, what is this woman doing to him? I said, I know you're trying to swag him up, but him in his 40s, almost, in fact he is, with a squiggle line on the side of his head when he doesn't even normally have that. Okay, I get it. Yeah, you trying to do something to this boy. Okay, I need you to get that aesthetic that you have at your head out of your head, Camille. He's a grown ass man. Why is he doing a whole wiggly line on the side of his head? Like, that's not what he does. If he had already done it, then I get it, Like, we got Stevie J. Stevie J might do some of that in his head. But Stevie J has always been that man. The fact you're trying to make this man that kind of man at his 40s, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I get it, we've got to swag him out. But that squiggly line on the side of his head, that ain't it. That ain't it. I said, That's not what I want to see from my brother. He needs to stand up for himself and fight for his right. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So He needs to get with it. But I like the fact that she was able to be more submissive in the space when he took control a little bit more, had a plan, said, "Listen, we're gonna be here for a little while. Obviously, on my house." He just made sense of it, and I think he felt more confident doing that this time around because I think it felt like she had his back. So I can understand it, So I'm hoping the best for them. I hope they can actually really make it work, and I really hope that they actually can thrive because they're actually a really cool couple. They're cool people on their own. They seem to stay out of people's business. Something I like. I don't like people that are always in people's business. They seem to stay out of people's business. Like Camille be there, but she will hear it and she like, well, I got my own problems to think about. So as far as I'm concerned, I ain't talking too much. Okay. So yeah, okay. I hear it. But listen, that to said, tonight's not about me. It is about the panelists tonight. Okay, all right. So I know we've got a few people going to be coming through tonight, and they're going to be chopping it up, talking about the show. Okay, I got two wonderful people with me as well. Okay, all right. So I've got two of my favorites behind the scene already. I know the rest of them will join in a few minutes. They will join in a few minutes, but I want to welcome to the stage. You already know who he is. From the north to the south to the west to the east, the only time is prime time. Welcome to the stage, Eastern baby.
Hey. Another amazing introduction. Hope we're ready for some carnage. We ready for some good talks, chat. Get ready because we got a lot of smoke, and I got my IKECHI outfit on. I said we're gonna pull out the denim jacket and we're gonna pull out a little beanie that is familiar, and we're gonna get into some Married at First Sight.
I love that. Not from at all. I'm ready to get into it. And then our next person coming onto the stage. Okay. You already know who she is, all right? The lady of leisure, okay? The woman who comes with a little bit of carnage, okay? She is a contrarian, all right? The honorable, the wonderful, the amazing, the peanut butter crunchy, I know where that came from. Mr. El Cid gonna get on my ass. But welcome to the stage, El Cid. I don't know why peanut butter crunch came to my mind, but it came to my mind.
I hate peanut butter crunch, so I don't understand why it came to your mind. But it certainly deflected from me saying, "Don't make me treat you like Ike Easton. You come fitted like him. You gonna trigger something in me, and I'm gonna treat you like Ike, because I'm gonna forget it's Easton, and I'm gonna see
no.
and jean jacket."
No, I'm not gonna be disrespectful. I'm not gonna be disrespectful like Ike has been these I guess basically 4 months, this entire quarter while we're watching Married at First Sight. I'm gonna be respectful.
I understand, even if you're respectful. If I see a brother out there right now in the wild with a beanie and a jeans jacket, I'm gonna be like, do you have a book out on Amazon with 2 stars?
2 stars. Oh man, that man's book had 2 5-star reviews, and then after January it had 50 1-star reviews. I said, yeah, it's over for you, my boy. But we'll see.
I heard you last night. I got words for you.
Look, we had some good discussions behind closed doors, and I watched the episode again, so I have some additional add-on points that I want to bring up. I got notes. I took notes today.
Okay, but you had a whole night last night.
Yeah, I had to watch it. I had to watch it again, and then I talked to Kojo. Kojo, we chatted, and we had some good points, good discussion, and then now I have some more points. I had some more things some interesting areas that I think that people kind of overlooked. I mean, the age discrepancy.
And you weren't prepared for the men's panel.
I really wasn't. I was
okay.
I was really going off of pure emotion. much like the theme of Married at First Sight. But now I'm going to try to lean into a little bit of logic and some of the note taking that I took.
So a couple of us that were prepared, maybe we could have joined the panel last night and brought our preparedness.
You know, maybe, but
Okay.
you know, we were just trying to give a different perspective, you know.
Understood. And I'm trying to encroach on your time. Understood.
Oh, look. See it coming for me today, early, y'all. Early.
This ain't coming for you. This is just coming for the outfit. If I was coming for Easton, I'd say something different. I'm coming for the Ike suit. Okay? Look, I was just complimenting Thomas on his suits, and here you come with the Ike suit.
No, I like Thomas suits. I like Thomas suits. I mean, I don't know if this is, to me, it just, even with the AKECHI's fits, it just seemed like his, I don't feel like that's his, that can't be his everyday attire. I'm like, my brother, you ain't got nothing else you can wear. You ain't got no other shirt, no other denim jacket, no other beanie, no other scarf, no other backpack. I feel like that was indicative of his effort within this process and his effort with EMEM. And as we've all said, he's dogged her and he did her dirty. So we'll get into that, but we'll get into her this week too. Because I feel like I'm on my little victory lap, and I'm a third of the way in, and we on that finishing 100 right now. And the last 50 meters is gonna be the reunion, because I know she's gonna act a fool there. We're gonna put some pieces together.
Hey, listen, well, I hear it, because I think we may have a bit more, or at least I'll have a bit more smoke for David and Madison if we find out they were really talking way earlier than they projected, because that's a lot of madness.
Bingo.
Okay, let's open up our conversations, because obviously, it's Juan and KARLA. Okay, they honestly were in a place where they were friends. The experts were like, we understand, we get it, They didn't really push them too hard. But this week we find out obviously that Juan wants to be the friend of KARLA, and KARLA was like, yeah, no. And then KARLA lets us know that, listen, they didn't even consummate the marriage. So really and truly, this thing didn't even happen. He did not enter her. So this is not a real marriage for her. And she has annulled it in her mind, okay?
Repeat that, Kojo. Repeat that, because repeat that. That's their words, not mine.
I want to get your thoughts on Juan and KARLA. I want to get your thoughts in terms of this friendship. Was Juan over the line? Was Juan over the line with that expecting friendship after, when he knew that she actually really wanted to make it work? Because it seemed like she really wanted to make it work, if I'm honest with you. She actually looked like she really wanted to be with him, and he's the one that said no. So I want to get your thoughts. Was KARLA and Juan, was he bad for trying to push friendship again? Was that insensitive of him to do so? Yes, I said.
I may not be the appropriate one, because I'm like a KARLA. When we're done, we're done. I'm not blocking you, but when we're done, we're done. I don't have to be friends with you. Don't even have to be friendly. I can be cordial. I'll say hello to you if I see you out in the wild. But this whole friend thing, no, not at all. And KARLA's staying true to herself, I guess, because she's like, hey, I didn't come here to make friends. That's all well and good. Juan, take it for what it is and walk away. For each of them, this is the first spouse they've had. I understand the sentiment. But, Juan, you didn't have to give that olive branch. You could have just left it and kept on going. But I understand. That's part of courtesy. Like, hey, let's just be friends, friendly, whatever. But you know what, KARLA? You kept the business away from the experts. You didn't tell them what's actually going on with you and Juan. But you tell the waiter. See, that's where I have the problem. Why are you telling relationship business to the waiter that's just passing by? Is it the drinks? Was it too much? Because for me, I need you to keep some of that stuff like behind closed doors. You could keep it from the experts, but you're telling the waiter. I didn't get that part, but hey, we can blame it on the alcohol, okay?
My, I guess my thoughts on it would be, it was a little bit, I wish Juan just would have cut it off, but he's kind of like that golden retriever that always is in a good mood and a good spirit, and maybe a little bit loopy at times. But Juan, I think he meant well, and he thought that, at the end of this experiment, the amount of time and that they put in together, that it would be able to like foster a good, healthy relationship or something that's platonic. It's unfortunate that it didn't end up that way. It did allow me to see how, maybe, I won't say completely vindictive that Karla could be, but it was a different lens that I didn't see Karla, because it seemed like she almost wanted to punish him in a way of not having a friendship with him because he didn't see her in the light of being a significant other or having something more romantic with her. I'm not saying that she's wrong for that. Again, you can kind of express yourself however you want to, but I felt like she was basically like, again, if he would have been like, hey, well, what if we tried not being married, but dating after decision day, I think she would have been gun-ho for it, which is why she kept the door open with, well, what is your definition of friends? And so she did that to see, like, what are you going to say about this? She wasn't going to be like, well, you denied me here. I don't see anything going on in the future. I think that she felt a particular type of way that Juan wasn't interested in her romantically. And she said, oh no, we're not going to do any of this. And I felt like it was a tad bit vindictive, especially since you've been chirping to everybody that you and Juan have this grand old friendship. And y'all been doing this for so long, and y'all are just so happy with being friends.
You would go as far as to say vindictive? I didn't think it was vindictive.
I would say vindictive because, like, even her off-screen stuff made it seem like she positioned herself like, oh, I know he wants to be friends, or I know he wants to be cordial. I'm taking this off the table because it's punishment, because you didn't want to be with me romantically. And it's like, I mean, not everybody's gonna want to be with you on those terms. And obviously, we heard from Juan, it wasn't anything about Karla outside of the foundational stuff about the spirituality and the financial aspects. It's not like he's over here saying that she's a crummy person. It's just that they don't agree on some core principles, and that's what kind of kept them apart. I think that you can have those type of people as friends and might not have them as your life partner, as your person, and that's perfectly fine.
So let me ask, do you think that Juan maybe learned from Karla with his interaction with Alan?
Are you talking about this episode's interaction with Alan, or are you just talking about?
Yeah, this episode when he's talking to Alan about what he's doing.
No, I don't think so. I really don't think that he had the space to really learn. I mean, honestly, I thought that it was a great conversation, and we can pin it on to whenever Alan was talking, or we talk about Alan. But I don't think that he was like, let me learn about myself or anything like that. I think he's genuine in the fact that he might be taking some time out from dating or anything like that. But I think Karla was dead set, and even with how she talked to Michelle afterwards, I mean, just the way that you talk about you and Juan's relationship, you should have been more, I guess, assertive with the experts on trying to get more answers, in my opinion. But it seemed like she came across a tad bit vindictive, like, oh, I'm taking this all off the table because you don't want me romantically. But I don't think he learned that much from Alan.
I thought he showed, great restraint in talking to but we'll get there. You show great restraint in talking to Alan. But we'll get there. Right now, it's Bruce.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, I think that he could have done. The thing I do appreciate about Juan, or where he has such a great amount of immaturity, he doesn't do anything to demean. He doesn't try to demean, or he didn't throw her under the bus, or even most of the times that she finally found out about how Juan felt about Karla was in the one-off offshot questions where they're like, so why I didn't work with Karla? And he, even though he had foundational like differences, he never was like, oh, well, she's over here burning sages and doing the crystals, and I just find that stupid, and I don't know. He just said, hey, foundationally, we don't align, and on the finances, we don't align, and he kept it cool. And I think that was a decent way of answering that. And I think it was the same way with Alan. Like, I think that he could have dogpiled and kind of threw her under the bus, but he didn't. And so I do appreciate that. He's still immature.
And that's where I wanted you to come to, because I felt in this episode that Juan was very, very, very particular. He never said anything that would cause a ripple effect. I still don't think Karla's confessions were as vindictive as you say. I would say it had a little bite to it. But yeah, I think he was a lot gentler about the dissolution of their marriage than she was in this episode.
Yeah.
But CWAY.
Are we calling Karla vindictive? What did I walk into?
Yeah, that's the word I'm trying to get Easton to backtrack a bit. It ain't vindictive. Okay. Got a little bite to it, but
petty vindictive is just a nicer, cuter way of saying vindictive. When you say somebody's petty, it's just a nicer way of saying they're vindictive. It's tomato in my book.
I'm gonna look up the definition of vindictive, and I'm gonna get back because I don't think that's the definition of vindictive.
I have it already pulled up. If you didn't pull it up, if you didn't pull up now, it's having or showing a strong, unreasoning desire for revenge.
Yeah. Then I'm not sure that's what that is. That's just what Karla is doing, is setting boundaries. Isn't that what you asked Alan to do? I feel this is too early on in the night for this. But yes, she's just setting boundaries. It's not being vindictive. He's trying to get a friendship because Juan actually is the vindictive one. He's been playing games this whole time. He's the one that's trying to, not vindictive, I shouldn't say it. He's very calculated. He has been calculated this entire time, trying to get a good edit, trying to look good, trying to look like the good guy. And now he's talking about he wants to be friends for his sake, not Karla's. Karla doesn't benefit from his friendship. She's just setting boundaries.
I think that she would, having somebody like Juan could help her with her business plan and her business model and scaling up whatever hair salon or hair business that she has. So I think
that could be for that now. She got Latoya.
And I know Sean wants me to bring this up, but Karla's doing just fine. Her website is up on her Instagram. It's very demure. It's very classy boots. She looks like she has lots of clients. She doesn't look like she needs Wancho's help for a God dog thing. I think she's good. I think she's good. So I think she has a right to set boundaries. Women have a right to set boundaries. If she doesn't want to be his friend, she can respectfully say no. She respectfully said, no, I'm good. Respectfully.
Sure. I mean, that's perfectly fine. But I think that the issue, or maybe my concern, is why are you saying that y'all are so good friends beforehand or prior to this? And then now it's like, F you, I'm done with you. No, you was over here every week telling everybody you just enjoy and love y'all's friendship and the camaraderie that y'all have, and y'all are like kindred spirits. And now, because you didn't get the desired effect, the desired result that you wanted, now you're like, all right, I'm put them in my boundaries. No, that's somewhat vindictive and petty. That's the reason why. Because again, if Juan would have said, make an assumption, if Juan would have said, hey, I would love to date you, or let's give this a try outside of the experiment where we date and get to know each other and give this another shot, I bet my last $2 she would maybe she would have some inkling and give it a try or anything like that. No, she's a little hurt that it didn't go her way. And didn't she just say her first actual healthy relationship was with Juan? And that you just want to throw that away? Kind of interesting.
Is this a real convo? I'm confused by this. I guess to your point, she was entertaining the friendship within the marriage because she was hoping that it would build to something more than that. And she was actually trying to be positive and not negative about the things that they did have. They didn't have they didn't have the spark, and they didn't have all of that, but they had a friendship. And so she was trying to be positive about that. But now that the 8 weeks are done, so are they. So I don't.
That's fair. I'm not going down. I'm not going to waste all my argument on Juan and Karla. I'm just saying, I felt like seeing this episode and seeing her in the confessional, it seemed a little bit petty. a tad bit vindictive when she was saying that, hey, she's gonna cut off the friendship because, I mean, maybe Juan is somebody who doesn't want to have a bad edit or even maybe cross people, because you could tell that Juan is very thoughtful and I don't know, maybe obsessive about his networking or his connections, because he was like that when he was talking to David about Alan, and he's like a good person to have on your side and he can do stuff. So maybe he's very aware about the relationships that he has with people and he didn't want to burn a bridge. But, you know, I'm not going down this hill because Juan, I'm not going to argue.
Yeah, I think Karla was keeping it cute with the person that she has to live with and sleep next to. For whatever they were doing. I don't know what they were, but I think she was trying to keep it cute for the situation that she was in. But once that situation was over, I think she respectfully moved on, which I actually feel like, since we're going to probably get to the other people later, we need to talk. Women need to have more boundaries, and I actually think that Karla is a great representation of boundaries that women and men should have. She was able to be respectful during the time that they were together, but also show how you can put up your boundaries when it's time to move on. And did she have a little, you know, as Dr. Pia would say, did it have a little sting to it? Was it a little whatever? Sure. But at the end of the day, she's keeping it cute and she's moving on. And I think that's important. And she's showing how to be respectful yet firm in your boundaries. And so many women especially need to learn how to do that. It doesn't make you a biatch. It doesn't make you this or that. It makes you a person with strong boundaries. And I think that's important.
I think this Ike uniform is getting to you already, Easton, but it's early in the night.
No, not that true. I like how you stir in the pot, Sid. I like how you stir in the pot. I see those eyes turning. You over here. Yeah, I see what you're doing.
Just observant.
Okay.
You're coming out with these words because you dress up. It ain't Halloween, and you dressed up like Ike, and he's an author, and you're trying to use these words. But I'm gonna make you pull them words back. A few of them words, I'm gonna make you pull back.
I'm sure let me ask ChatGPT, petty and vindictive are synonyms. You're interchangeable. It's just how you wanna. We could. I think it is somewhat. I mean, I think
you can have your ChatGPT, and I'm gonna have Webster. How about that?
Okay. Well, touche.
No. So, what was you guys' thoughts around? Sorry, the things in my head of questions. What was your thoughts around? Because there was no part of one and okay. So obviously, she said that the marriage hasn't been consummated, because obviously they didn't have sex. And there's Sean. Sorry, didn't have sex. So in that situation, I would love to know what your thoughts were in regards to the fact that the marriage is not a real quote unquote real marriage, as Karla was almost putting, like it doesn't count in a sense because they didn't actually consummate their marriage in a sense. I want to get your thoughts on that. What was your thoughts of that particular aspect? Because she was having that conversation with Michelle, and they were having that conversation in the bar as well. So what was your thoughts of that, guys?
I mean, legally, technically, it's a bit outdated, but there's some states that do, and I'm not going to go state to state looking at it, but there are some states still in 2025 that do use that as a consideration. I believe, I'm sure people will fact check me because they love to do that here, that I believe they still consider whether or not you consummated the marriage or not. And definitely for immigration proceedings, having a real marriage, including consummating a marriage, it does go into it. So I think it was tongue in cheek, as you Brits would say. I think it was that, but it's also not, because from word on the curb is that got an annulment, and I wonder if she threw that part in there, whatever she had going on. And so you definitely can use that as part of your argument for an annulment, depending on what the other grounds are. Of course, you need some other grounds, like whether there was some type of fraud, duress, things like that to go with your case. But it's not completely a joke. It's not completely a joke. I actually think less so Karla, But Michelle actually has a really good case. She should have probably took it to the courthouse to figure out a way for an annulment, because if the basement dweller was down there with Madison on day 2, she should, I don't know if she didn't check a lawyer, but she really should have got that marriage annulled. She could have tried it at least. I don't know if they would have gave it to her, but she could have tried.
Okay. Anyone else have their thoughts on that marriage not being consummated, meaning that, you know, pretty much the marriage has been, it's not really the marriage in a sense, almost.
This is what I've been saying this entire time. Y'all wanted to berate me, call me everything outside a child of God. Y'all wanted to talk about me, and I find out contestants in the actual experiment said, "Oh, this is not a real marriage. We did not consummate it." I got all I need to know. I can go up to glory and know that I did everything I could, and I was on the right side of history. Because we
my words, Easton.
we have to order. I'm reclaiming my time.
Just let him bump his gums. Please let him get his
because we sit here and we judge these people who are in these experiments, and we hold them to the same rules and regulations and same kind of foundational principles as we do a normal marriage or a traditional marriage or even an arranged marriage, anything under the sun based off of your religion or your cultural preferences or anything like that. And we can't do that no more. These people know they're going into an experiment. There's things that are going to happen, and it's going to be very, very unconventional. And so now I'm saying that since that is the barrier, we know now that things are going to be unconventional going forward. They have been in the past, and now we can just stop looking at it through a lens. Not saying that we should operate under the guise that you can cheat and do stuff, because I'm not going to use this and stretch it too much and say that, oh, David was justified because he wasn't really married. But I will say that we have to stop thinking in the sense of like a traditional marriage when it comes to these shows, whether it be Love is Blind or Married at First Sight or anything like that.
Easton, and the whole premise of the show needs to be tossed out, because nobody could get out of marriage really in 8 weeks. So what are you saying? I'm really trying not to go in on you in your Ike uniform. I'm really trying not to go in on you. So what? You're negating the need for the show.
No, the essence of the show is to see that will a 8-week process translate into a fully functioning and healthy relationship. Not saying that the 8 weeks you're not going to have bumps and bruises, you're not going to have things that happen that are unconventional or that might, deter the actual longevity of the relationship. No, it's simply just to see, are you going to get married? Is this going to be something that's sustainable long term? And I think we go into it typically with, oh, this needs to be just like a marriage that we've seen somebody's been dating or courting for X amount of months or weeks or years or something like that, and then they've known the family for years and et cetera, et cetera. I'm just saying that we can't use that kind of barometer anymore as we judge these relationships, because it tends to be a little too hefty and we get a little too judgmental, in my opinion.
Here's why I think Karla did it right in the way she said it there. It's on film. It's a declaration. She can go get her annulment. It is a public declaration. That's where I think Karla can use this. Hey, we have not consummated. She said it out loud. She could go to the courts, get her annulment. I don't, she could have shared that with the experts, but I don't think either one of them wanted to progress in that marriage. So they just did the friendship route while on camera, while they were cohabitating.
Yeah, any other thoughts, guys? Marriage, consummation. Juan and Karla. It's not a real marriage. What's thoughts?
Yeah. Wait, Mark, hold on. I don't even have the words. I'm actually almost at a loss for words with the way Easton switched my argument. The reason why I said that it wasn't that Michelle could get a divorce or get an annulment is because David was cheating from the beginning. It wasn't just because they didn't consummate the marriage. It's because that is the fraud part of it. I was actually leaning towards the fraud. It's fraud. He literally was living a lie. It was fraudulent. He was acting like he was in a marriage whole time he was down there with that Jezebel. So that was the reason why I said it wasn't a real marriage, on top of the fact that they didn't consummate the marriage. So you twisted that completely. Counselor, good job. I don't know, you need a different career, because the way you gonna twist and turn, you gonna confuse the hell out the jury. They just gonna just say not guilty, because when they done listening to you, they ain't gonna know what's going on.
I object.
Wait. CWAY. Can I then push and say, well, Michelle didn't want that man ever, so
yeah, but that part really wouldn't be, you know, that'd
Really
be a whole
wouldn't
lot
be.
of annulments. It'll be a whole lot of annulments for people who just didn't want people. But he was actively contributing to stuff that at some point would have been grounds for annulment and divorce. So, but anyway, I just wanted to clarify that.
I'm also trying to understand how it's not a real marriage if you actually have to sign a marriage certificate and you actually have to sign paperwork. And in order to get a divorce, you would need to have actually been legally married. And even in order to get an annulment, it actually required you to be actually married. But somehow it's not a real marriage.
Easton just trying to use Carla's words. He's just trying to use Carla's
Nobody
words.
is saying that it's literally not a marriage. We know that they have contracts and they have to do the paperwork and probably have to go to the courthouse and all this other stuff. I'm saying that even the participants themselves see that this is a non-traditional, unconventional manner of getting married. And so the same heftiness and weight of a marriage where you've known where you introduced to the love of your life, you've gone on dates, you've met the family, you've asked her father for hand in marriage. I don't even think that they think, or not everybody, but some of the castmates think that it's as serious as them doing a traditional marriage. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that David was right for doing what he did. Or Madison. All I'm saying is some of the contestants have the same train of thought that I have, and like, this is unconventional. This is not how normal marriages go, and they operate as if it doesn't. And so even post experiment, they don't operate as if they just got out of a divorce. I'm just saying that it's there's a lot more. We always use the word nuance, but there's a lot more nuance behind the experiment and how they may define marriage for them as participants in it. And we just saw that because Michelle and Karla both said, "Oh, we didn't consummate the marriage," even though it was tongue in cheek. I think there was a little bit of reality behind it.
Well, I think I was just gonna say, I think it is true, especially over the years, different people take this process more and less serious than others. I don't think Michelle and Karla's conversation, though, was a reflection of what you're saying. I think they were just talking about how everything went haywire and they wish they could get out of it. I think it's a different situation. But there's definitely been people who take it very seriously, and there's people who come on here and taking it as a joke. And unfortunately, a lot of times those people are matched with each other. But I do think there are still a lot of people who take this very, very seriously. Now, should they, is a different conversation. And there's other people who clearly are on here for, I don't know, because you don't even get famous off of math. So I don't know why you would put your name, legally tie your name to another person for math if you're not serious. I personally don't understand that.
And also, it's very clear that Karla said that because basically her time was wasted. Well, like, Karla ended up being a time waster for her. So yeah, like, she's kind of saying it because she's a little bit in her feels, but to take that like, oh, see, like, she didn't consider it a real marriage. The woman clearly stated, I came in here to get married. Like, I didn't come here for friendship, hence why she doesn't want a friendship with him. She's like, I came here for a marriage. And unfortunately, her time got wasted. So yeah, she's gonna have a few words and she's going through the motions of getting over this time waster of a man. But yeah, that doesn't invalidate her intentions were to come into the situation to be married and hopefully for it to be a lasting marriage. And I think that you're kind of taking a moment of levity that she's kind of trying to make out of the situation and trying to put 20 on 10 regarding that. And it's I'm sorry, it's just not going to work there.
I would only push back on the time waster of a man because, you know, when you apply the maths, you're putting it in the expert's hands. So it's a luck of the drawer. Luck of the drawer.
And also with maths, you have a less you have a less percentage of successful in marriage and even longevity of a marriage in the maths process than you do in real life. So these people know that you probably have a higher probability of failure being on maths and finding and being married to that person than you do in real life. So to me, I think it's kind of, the jokes are already written. I mean, you go on that show almost knowing that your relationship isn't going to be successful. But hey.
Go for it, Sean. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I have nothing to add.
Okay. Okay. I think we've worn out Karla and Juan's tops. So we'll move on from them as well. But listen, audience, if you're here and you're in the chat, listen, we're enjoying the conversation and the festivities. It's only going to get hotter from here. So if you are a part of the conversation, welcome. We appreciate you. If you are a part of the membership, well done. We appreciate it because it's about to go members only. And you know me, I don't actually give you guys warning anymore. Before you know it, the lights are cut off. You should have paid your bill. That's just what it is. Because it's about to go members only, and I ain't going to warn you. Okay, so right now, if you're talking in chat, you can't talk no more. It is what it is. I appreciate you. It's members only. Listen, we're going to be talking about the next couple, Thomas and Camille. You know, I think having a conversation around them in terms of the way that they have navigated the space. I think they've done quite well. I mean, there's some things that I didn't like, but of course, I think it's things that over a long period of time, when you look at it from the end perspective, it's like these things can be changed, they can be worked, they can be ironed out. It's not necessarily a thing that could. It's not necessarily a thing that I'm looking at going, now it's definitely not going to work. It's more things that could be worked out in a sense. So yeah, I enjoyed seeing Thomas Camille. Now, of course, she brought out the lingerie. She finally brought out the lingerie. It did feel a little bit. How do I explain this? And maybe you guys can debate this with me or have a say on this. I don't know. It felt a little bit, and it's just my thought process. I could be wrong. I think you guys might have said it last 3 weeks. I feel like she brought the lingerie as a reward. And I find that I don't like that. Because I feel like you're about to use sex as a weapon throughout the course of the relationship. It's going to be an issue. That's what I felt like. But again, you know, I'm open to different possibilities here. But it's like, sis, you knew you had the lingerie when we were on the trip, didn't bring it out. Now he's giving you the plan. It's like, okay, now I'm going to reward you with this lingerie. And whilst I do believe that you should always give people positive affirmations and positive conditioning in terms of when they do something good, you know, praise them. I feel like when you use sex as the appraisal tool, this is a very, it's very touch and go with that. And it's more than likely you potentially might be using that illegally in the relationship to try and control someone in a sense of like, I give you sex when I want to give you sex, and then you're almost at the end of the string with the carrot. But that's how I felt about it. Again, I think it's something that can be ironed out. I don't want to look at her in a bad way. I think those are things that she does out of fear rather than necessarily being of evil intent. But I think she's used to that kind of power dynamic where she gets to control things. And I think it's another aspect of control. But I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you agree that sentiment, or did you see it differently in that sense when it came to the lingerie that she finally allowed old boy to sniff up and taste? You know what I'm saying to you? What are your thoughts on that particular issue, Thomas and Camille and the lingerie? How are we feeling?
I was feeling like this. This is what we were waiting to see. This is what he was waiting 8 weeks for to see. Golly, you know, I hope you have the tags and take it back. It was, oh, golly. It wasn't much. I'm sorry. But I did have the same thought that you had. I was like, why? Why is this after the fact? It's like, now that you've said the right thing on decision day, now you get to see and experience this. And I still felt like she was beating this man up. Even in her most affectionate time with him, I was like, Thomas, I feel for you. But hey, at least she, kept her word. That's the positive thing I can say. She kept her word. The lingerie did come out. He did, get to experience it, and they live happily ever after. We'll find out next week. But I was just like, even in her nice time, she's like acting like they're on two separate teams on the basketball court, and she playing defense. I'm just like, I'm not getting. She really really liked this man on camera. It probably isn't translating well.
Any other thoughts, guys? Anybody other thoughts?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean.
Who is that? Is that CWAY? Or?
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that she just appears to be somebody that has her walls up. And, she's not, she's not giving oral gratification. She dragged the lingerie. Sorry. The lingerie. It looked like laundry. She dragged the lingerie situation out, So I'm not really sure, what's going on. I saw in the chat, and I happen to agree. It seems like she might not just be fully comfortable, with her body. So she didn't want to be fully, in the complete lingerie on camera. So I can respect that. But I do need her to stop with the WWE moves and jumping and bumping on people. I do need her to relax with that. Like, it's come to a point where you got to stop jumping on me from get a 10-foot head start and you jumping. I need her to knock it off. But listen, Thomas seems to love it. I think, the good thing about him, he is, he's got lots of patience. That's not going to work with everybody, but fortunately, he seems to exercise a lot of patience. So it works for him. And I just want to see with her more balance, because we just saw a lot of one-sidedness in their relationship early on. A lot of what she wanted him to do, a lot of what he needed to, do to reassure her. And I just want to see some of the balance. But I will say, on the positive side, she seems to have lightened up since after decision day, which I think she might have had a lot of anxiety around that. What is he going to do? Where are they going to live? So I think she has, softened up a bit since decision day.
I didn't see it as a reward for, or however you put it, Coach. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as just her affirming where she sees their relationship and her getting to a place where she has a level of comfortability. I do think obviously you've seen the whole season, that she's someone that talks the talk, but doesn't quite get there when it comes to walking the walk. She envisions herself differently than how she, verbalizes herself to be. And I feel like there's a level of a lack of comfortability, I think, probably with her body that she just needs to get to. And honestly, it's national TV who's going to be putting their lady bits out there like that. So the lingerie being kind of lackluster, I kind of got it. She probably could have done a little bit of a better color rather than just a black. It looked like just a black robe. So hopefully there was something nicer, a bit nicer under there. But so I don't know, I won't go too hard on the actual lingerie itself. Or she could have just done it off camera. We didn't even need to see it. If she was really about that life, she could have just done it off camera and just had it been really special for him. But I did not see it as a reward. I saw it as I really see us going the distance here, and I feel more comfortable being a little bit more vulnerable, because I think part of the sumo wrestling moves that she does is because it's, to me, it's putting her walls up. Sorry, that's my dog going crazy.
Jumping up and down on the bed, Lin. What's going on? You got Camille in the room with you, jumping?
No, it's my Chihuahua playing with her toy. That's
oh,
she's
gotcha.
playing with her toy. She's so crazy. But yeah. I'm sorry. Is it a lot of feedback? Sorry. So yeah, so I just think that she does see them going to this, or I feel like she has more confidence in where they are as a couple, and that's why she felt comfortable bringing out the lingerie, because it does require a level of vulnerability in order to, I don't know, like there's something about wearing lingerie and because I think when you do like the sumo moves and you do the wrestling moves, like you can kind of hide behind those kind of things and not being as vulnerable. But when you put on lingerie, it's I think a little bit more intimate than even being totally nude at times. So anyway, my phone was getting crazy, so let me just stop right there. But yeah, I didn't see it the same way. I saw it as
boy.
It's her.
Oh, it sounds like something else creaking.
I was gonna say, is his name is it Thomas?
That's what it sounded like, a mattress. It sounded like somebody jumping up and down. Wow, I'm trying not to
it's
be.
a squeaky toy. It's a squeaky elephant. That's her
I'm
favorite.
glad you explained it, but
oh, there's an elephant in the room. Okay.
CWAY? Oh, I can go. I was a little bit, I was half and half. CAMILLE, being on camera does present some issues, just in the point that, you might not feel the sexiest or the most, risque, if you will. But I don't like how she jumps on that man, Thomas. She jumped on that man. And he could, again, he's already pulled a hamstring, hurt his back. She didn't have that man folded up. So I'm hoping and praying my boy's body is strong and he doesn't get any major injuries or anything like that. But it's weird to me. I just don't like the idea that she's kind of holding the sex or even the lingerie or the oral as like a bargaining chip. And I think that that's a dangerous thing going forward, because people learn how to maybe get their way, or, hey, I want you to, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. And you don't want it to be transactional, because somebody always feels like they're getting the short end of the stick. I'm interested to see how they progress past the honeymoon phase, because that'll be the most telling of it. And I also don't want Thomas to be a man who suffers in silence, because we've already seen that he has. With the last relationship, he was quiet and he just kind of just was in the background. And then eventually he did end up being a cheater. And again, that one thing doesn't lead to another, but I think that you can kind of lean towards some of these moments where he doesn't say anything and he doesn't speak up on his own behalf, and he just kind of accepts what the cards that he was dealt, and that ends up being his worst mistake. So I hope that post the honeymoon stage that they're in currently, because also they have the idea that we're the only relationship that survived out of MAFS this season. So there's like a level of like, thank God. I felt like they had a coming to Jesus moment when they realized, like, thank God you're not like David. Thank God you're not like Madison. Thank God like you're not like any of these other people. And they almost kind of connected a tad bit over everybody else being pretty terrible and crummy. But I'm, again, interested in post honeymoon. Once life gets together, gets a little bit more stressful, is Thomas still going to be able to come up with these plans and have concepts of ideas and different things going on? And is CAMILLE going to stick to her word, or is she going to be emphatic or open to just, loving him the way he wants to be loved without it being attached to an action that he may have done? So I'll be interested in seeing that.
CWAY? I know she might be tied up a little bit, but
no, sorry, I was just trying to order some food.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with most of the stuff that's been said. I just, in general, I wish them the best, so I don't want to like nitpick, their relationship and the things that that she's done with or without. I don't know how much the cameras and stuff have played into part. I just don't connect with CAMILLE in any way, shape, or form, like even unrelated to Thomas. And so I just don't know if she just has like a disconnect issue in general that's unrelated to Thomas. And so perhaps as they get closer and she gets closer, she'll be better, because I see the way she interacts with her family and her grandma, and she completely lightens up. But the way she is around people that she just ain't fully keen on or still warming up to, it's just not my type of person. So I definitely think they're going to be fine over time. She just takes her time. and so I think she'll be fine. So I don't want to beat a dead horse with my thoughts. I thought that they adjusted well, and every single time that I see them on the screen, I guess like Easton said, they seem more and more happy that they ain't looking like everybody else. So, saying sometimes it takes that. Sometimes it takes looking around and it reminds you to be grateful for your situation. And so I know Thomas ain't perfect, Camille ain't perfect, but I think they'll work it out as she continues to warm up. So that's really my thoughts.
I just really hope that Thomas is going to develop a voice and that he's going to be able to speak up for himself. Because this is how you end up later on in a sexless marriage, and then you're crying. I just need him to speak up, because it's now that you have to speak up before it becomes a pattern of behavior that I believe that later on gets used against you, and you're like, you asking a question like, where did it start? It starts here. You know what I'm saying to you? It started the moment she said she ain't speaking into the mic, but she want to go down to her. I said, at this point, brother, if we don't speak to her quickly and let her know that this is unacceptable behavior, that you are able to do the thing that she can't do, I said, none of us should be doing it then. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, none of us should be doing it. And so that's what I'm just like, it's not necessarily like, it's not the craziest of flags. It's just something that I always be that when you start seeing them kind of patterns, because they usually come with a power dynamic, and that there is like the walls up, like Sean was saying as well, those things that happen, it's like, okay, no, I hear it. You know, you are trying to be more, you know, you're trying to break down those walls in a sense, but then it's like you acting like you're in a place of power, like you're above the other person. They've got things to grow on, and acting like you don't have things to grow on. You've got issues too. That's the whole point. Like, you know, it looks like the light keeps shining on Thomas about what he needs to do, and I'm looking at Camille like, when are you shining the light on yourself? When are you going to highlight the areas that you maybe can work in and be a bit more feminine and be a bit more softer and release the guard? You know what I'm saying to you? So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like I said, I think. You know, Felicia said, I know people in happy marriages over decades where the man does and the woman does not. She has a special set of skills and he's okay with those skills. Well, that's not happening here. That's the whole point. Those special skills are not being utilized.
He's asking.
Yeah, Sean, you want to say something?
No, I was saying, I think what Felicia was saying is the woman doesn't, and she's using other sets of skills. So she's doing other things. So maybe she overcompensates in other areas. You know, she got that, you know,
the good
that fits like a glove, you know, and it just works out. Like David said, it fits like a glove, right? That's what he said to Madison. That's what got him, you know, getting tattoos removed. So, you know. Maybe, you know, maybe Camille has that magic, you know.
Well, we'll find out, because it doesn't sound like it was necessarily magic just yet, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Sean, but I definitely hear you. You being nice, but I'm gonna rip that Band-Aid off. He needs to speak up. Stop being so...
We need to get out of their marital... We need to get out of their marital bedroom. We don't know what works for them. We need to move on.
Yes, you're right. We need to get out of that marital bed, but that's how you end up divorced. And so I say that because a lot of men do suffer in the silence area, because we can't talk about it, because it looks like we're being a bastard when we talk about it. Like this actually happens a lot. These kind of situations, men don't talk about it because it looks like we're being a bastard by saying, I want sex. You do want sex. Stop pretending you don't want sex. Like, you have to stay true to your actual needs of what you want in a relationship, and relationships are about being honest. And I think that if he doesn't address this issue, it is actually indicative of how he addresses everything else in the relationship. He's passive. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's like, stop letting her put herself on a pedestal on all areas. She questioned your blackness. She's also, now the situation is, I feel like she's holding this sex situation on you. Bro, like, at what point are you going to be like, this doesn't work. Stop doing this. Like, come into a place where we're at equal heads. I just feel like that's something he's going to have to definitely step up to. And I'm also focusing on him. I'm not saying her. I want him to step up and be like, yo, like, this is what I want. This is what I need. And not just the sex aspect. It's in all aspects. Be a bit more confident. Otherwise, she's going to run you into the ground.
Did you ever think that some of these men like to be ran?
When you say that, do women? Do you ever think that women want to be mistreated too? And just be
not mistreated. Not mistreated.
It is, but it's mistreatment though. When you put someone on a pedestal and they're superior to it, and as you guys were saying, he was questioning his blackness. Would you want the man to do the same thing to a woman?
I'm not talking about.
Would you say
I'm not
that?
talking about that type of stuff. I'm just saying that there's some personalities that like to be. I mean, taking the negative that you just said out of it, they like to be ran. There's some women who like to be ran. I mean,
you wouldn't say that if it was a woman, though. That's the whole point.
I mean, I would. There's a group of people in your comment section that love to be ran. They co-sign all of this type of stuff.
CWAY, would you have said it if this was a way around?
No, because I don't have that personality.
No. That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying, would you say the same thing if a man was doing what the woman was doing and say, well, some women just like to be ran and treated that way? You wouldn't say that. That's the whole point. You wouldn't say that.
But I also have to be aware that I'm screaming to a, what do you call it? Like when we get to MM, I'm screaming. I'm gonna be screaming. At the end of the day, she's a goofy and she wants to be a goofy. I need to take my own advice and stop trying to get her to stop being a god dog goofy. So when we get to there, then I'm gonna be consistent and I'm not gonna be ranting and raving, because at the end of the day, some people like to be goofies. And it just is what it is. When it comes to him, yeah, he can speak up a little bit, but I think Thomas likes to be directed. I think he likes to be passive. I think that's his personality. Sure, he should take your encouragement, and I think he could do a little bit more. But I think his nature is not to be very vocal. I just think, and I'm gonna try not to make it a negative thing. Maybe that's just his personality.
You can tell it's not his personality because the residual effect of that was him cheating. Him being quiet for all that time, with the end result was him cheating. And he said that those are explicitly his words. He just kept it in, and eventually he ended up, basically not being passive aggressive anymore, and he showcased that by cheating. So that isn't his personality, or that isn't his most ideal or effective personality. It's just a means to an end, or like what he's done all his life, or maybe he just doesn't have the confidence to speak up in his relationship.
And that's why that means that's his personality. It
doesn't.
Okay, so someone's whole life is not their personality.
It's not their personality if they end up
they're unhealed.
It means they're unhealed. That's the whole point. So he needs to speak. That's what I'm saying. He needs to speak up. It is not healthy for him to be that passive. He's not that passive. He's intentionally shifting the authority that he has and moving out of that space, and then it leads to him behaving in a very passive aggressive manner. That's what I'm saying. He has to speak up, because you got a history of cheating already.
But how do we know that before he cheated? Maybe he cheated because he was complacent and didn't feel like moving, like a lot of people cheat. How do we know it's just because he was a long?
He said it
He said that he knew the relationship was over, and he knew that he needed to move out of that relationship, but instead of doing it, he cheated. So that means that he could have just been sitting there complacent and not doing anything, not just because he's passive.
That's the whole point. He's passive aggressive though. So that the move of the cheat was, instead of addressing the issue assertively, he didn't address it. That's what I'm saying to you. People who do those kind of things, the same with like David, the same with Madison. That's why I said to you, they're passive aggressive people. When you don't speak up and say what you really want and what you really need, this is the kind of behavior that comes out of it. That's why I said how David and Madison are. They're passive aggressive individuals. And so that's why I'm saying that he should start speaking now, because you're already being jumped on. Avocados in your mouth, okay? All right? You're not getting spoken to the mic. You're already going down already, and these things, right? And your blackness being questioned, and all of these keep happening to him, and it's acting as if I'm really patient. And this is what happens. Men will go, I'm really patient. You're not patient. Stop lying. You just don't know how to be resourceful and actually say what you actually need. And then later on, it builds up. Then you do something stupid. And then now we're going to be like, well, Thomas, how you out here cheating? What's going on? And it's because you didn't actually do what you need to do. So I'm putting more emphasis on him. I'm not putting much on CAMILLE. I'm putting on him. He has to grow a set of balls and start talking up. Because you're going to have yourself an issue. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, I know it sounds a bit mad, but I want him to.
I mean, I see your point. I also think that part of this is his nature. I think it's somewhere in between. But I do think that, you can't let anybody walk all over you at some point without speaking up. But I think my point is that there's people sometimes who are like him for whatever reason, whether it's a trauma response or whatever it is. They seem to be very attracted to people like CAMILLE that have that more dominant spirit. So, I mean, I don't know.
I hear that. I appreciate the pushback there, CWAY as well. Any other thoughts, guys, before we shift it? Any other thoughts before we shift it? Well, listen, we appreciate Thomas and Camille, and we wish them luck on their journey. And, you know, we're happy that at least one couple made it out, because, boy, y'all going to have to hold that torch. The rest of them, they ain't going to make it out. Let's talk about another couple that was on the show. There was obviously... I'm trying to think the couples now in my head. Yeah, okay, well, obviously, I guess we're Michelle, David, and Alan's situation, and Madison. So, obviously, we'll talk about Alan and Madison first. Obviously, on this episode, well, actually, no, it wasn't. Alan and Madison didn't have much of a conversation. It was more that Madison made a comment. So I want to get your thoughts. Madison made a comment about how she felt like they weren't getting the support from the group. And I want to know your thoughts about that comment. That she wanted the support. She felt like they weren't being supportive of the group, yet they were being supportive of EMEM and Brandon. Was this an obtuse point of view from Madison to consider and think that she was going to get the support? I want you to maul on that quickly. I'm just going to read out the super chat and then you guys can jump in there. First of all, we just want to say thanks to those who are new members. Crate Productions, shout out to you. We appreciate you. Lessie 1986, shout out to you. Mikey, shout out to you as well for joining as well. Selena, it's good to have you on board. We appreciate you as well. And CXM, appreciate you for being a member for the last 18 months. Shout out to you. We appreciate you. Oh, we appreciate you big time. And shout out to Drusy. Drusy dropped 10 memberships for those in the audience. We thank you. We thank you. We appreciate the fact that you're supporting and you're sharing and you're giving. It's always blessed to give than it is to receive. Some people ain't getting it though. So let me stop. All right, listen. Let me put a little clip and then we're gonna get into the show. Before I was about to ask somebody. All right, cool.
Is a U.S. The new king?
Shout out to Valerie Shepard. She says Camille needed to stop leaning on him like that. I definitely hear that. She has been leaning on him like she is a WWE wrestler. I don't know if you guys saw SummerSlam on Netflix. It was a great show. Do you see Jade Cardi? Y'all know about listen, that woman is fine. You know what? Maybe I need to be passive. She better throw me around the ring. I'll tell you that now. Throw me around the ring, Jade Cardi. Stop. I'm changed. I'm a changed man of the Lord. All right, listen, back to our conversation. Madison and Madison's situation. She didn't get the support. Okay, she did not get the support that she said that she felt like the group were given EMEM and Brandon. I want to know, was this an obtuse viewpoint? Okay, was it an obtuse viewpoint? I want to know your thoughts and why. Someone said it's audacious, no?
Madison at the very last minute has taken the top spot of villains this season from Michelle, and mostly because Michelle, kind of went out sad, but Madison is leaning into it. She was objectively obtuse because she broke up the friendship group, the circle of trust that they all had. Like individually, she kind of jaded everybody, regardless of how you wanted to flip it, dip it, or skip it. Like whether it be the guys being friends with like David, they can't really be friends with them because it's either gonna fracture their relationship with their significant other, like it did with Thomas and Camille, or even in the case of like a KARLA, where she put a lot of trust into Madison, and now she's looking at you sideways. And plus, people just don't want to be around cheaters, especially if you're in a experiment, which is kind of centered around marriage. I think she came from a place of jealousy. And this episode really showed me how, again, Madison has been nasty, but really has gotten into how immature and nasty that she can be. And it's, I wouldn't even say sad because I almost sped through all the scenes with her and David, but I really would have enjoyed if Mavs would have just kicked her and David off and not put them on to anything else and, basically paraded and celebrated their infidelity. But that's neither here nor there. We can discuss that later.
Who's up next? Sean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess Audacity was on sale and she bought it in bulk, because I'm not really sure where she gets off feeling that people need to support them. You know, just is tone deaf, selfish. You know, I could choose a few other words, but I think those are primarily the main ones. It's like, and this is what happens when people do wrong things and then convince themselves that they're justified in their actions. You know, she even met up with her pappy, and the father, you know, pretty much just patted her head and said she was okay. And I think that's why she had the gumption to sit up there and make those remarks and still try to come at Michelle. I think, you know, she just has no humility, and she lacks character, because anybody that you know would half of a heart would just be like, you know, although we're together, we may not have started off well. You know, I want to be a little humble. I want to be a little apologetic. You know, and understanding that the way we started wasn't the right one. I'm not mad about it. You know, this is me talking like them. You know, but I do realize it didn't get off to the right way. So yeah, I think she still has so much work to do, and you know, they're you know, life will get them. Life will do what life often does, and then hopefully, you know, her and David can get the healing that they need.
Yeah, ladies, what we saying?
I mean, unfortunately, Madison is subscribing to what a lot of women I see subscribe to. It's conditional morality. And the reason why she has this audacity is because she's lacking character, and her character is conditional. There's so many people who think that their character, their morality is conditioned on another person's behavior. Either you're a good person, you have integrity, or you're not. It doesn't matter what you think about what the other person does. Either you're a low down, dirty Jezebel, or you're not. That literally is what it is. And the reason why Madison has this audacity is because it's her dad, it's her friends, it's her other people who has told her that what she did was okay because the heart wants what it wants, or because Michelle didn't want him, or whatever the reason is. And these be the same people who sit up here and cry about how the fact that they got cheated on. Well, you're getting cheated on with other people who have conditional morality. People who believe, oh, you weren't doing what you were supposed to do in the relationship, so he has a right to cheat. Oh, you yelled at him, so he had a right to cheat. These be the same women, the women who literally co-sign this mess, be the main ones crying on the internet talking about they didn't got cheated on by every man. Well, you're getting cheated on by women who think like you. Conditional morality. Either you're a Jezebel or you're not. It doesn't have anything to do with the other person. But it's honestly very understandable how Madison got that way. Too many people have co-signed her nonsense her whole life. She's been stealing people's mans her whole life, and people been telling her, oh, it's not your fault. So I don't know. I can't even be fake surprised. And then she's surprised by, oh, that the friends don't want to deal with her, because people of integrity know a low down Jezebel sneaky person when they see one. And they also know that David ain't much better. So they don't want anything to do with you. Because if you'll do it to them, you'll do it to, like, that's the thing. People with no values have no values. It doesn't matter what you apply it to. So they don't want anything to do with her. What MM is doing with that scammer doesn't affect them. That's a whole separate issue. But I think people really need to pray on the fact that their integrity is conditional. It shouldn't be.
I'll add another to the list because production is co-signing. They're still here. They're still being filmed. Dates are still being paid for. So production is co-signing on it. So that further gives them some kind of validation in their mind as to we're here. And since production doesn't have a problem with it, you should not either. But that's where you're wrong. The people can feel however they want. The other couples can feel however they wish to. The thing is that I'm watching it. Y'all knew how much Alan crashed out. Y'all knew how much Alan did not respond to her text, did not want to see her ever again, and yet you're putting him in this tense situation again with the both of these people. That's where my thing is. Y'all know, how can I say it, the mental fortitude is taken for Alan to be in this space with them and being triggered all over again. So at this point, y'all are using Alan's pain, and y'all see they were panned in tight on Alan every time David passed by, every time Madison passed by. They knew it. They were using it. And Alan is still bothered. Alan is still bothered at the point of this. So again, I'm looking at them. Yes, production is giving them the semblance of, oh, you're still here. But production, y'all are triggering Alan. And that is the part I don't like. Y'all should give Alan a pass to just not be there, or just not have them there at every single mixer. They can miss a couple. Give them their dates aside and don't even have them there. Because I'm sure with the way Thomas was talking, I'm surprised he said okay for David to be there. Because Thomas said, yeah, I'm not Team David. I'm not about David right now. So I'm wondering why David and Madison are even there. But that's my point.
Good points on the Alan situation. I can't lie to you. He's a strong man, because it couldn't be me. I'll tell you now, it couldn't be me. I'd have crashed out. Maybe not burnt nothing, but I would have crashed out.
But they want him to crash out, so then y'all can talk about that he has anger management issues for burning the stuff at the thing. So I mean, he did a really good job by not crashing out. But what production is doing, I agree with El Cid, is actually equally as bad as Madison and David. Not only did they do that, but now you're platforming what they're doing after the experts said in our face and act like it was the biggest moral sin that we've ever seen. Well, if it's the biggest moral sin, then they should be casted out, not be given anniversary dates. But we all know it's about money, and it can be at the expense of the mental health of the castmates. And I'm glad that Alan seemed like he took his time and he got a little bit more grounded. But I mean, the whole thing is hurtful, to be honest, and it was nasty. And honestly, even David showed a lot more couth than Madison did. I mean, he still was there, but I will say David at least seemed to have a lot more awareness of the fact that, like, I'm going to do what I want to do, but I'm not going to make it, like, I'm not going to be like bragging about it.
In the face.
Yeah.
In your face.
He was like, I'm here, but I'm not going to bring like that extra air to it. Madison is one of those people who gets a rise out of taking other women's girls and one up other women. And so she's actually on a high from that. I think it's more about that than it even is the man. That's why I'm surprised I saw them in that Target. Because usually women like that, once the high wears off of you stealing the other woman's man, you usually don't want them anymore. So, I mean, I don't know.
The place of privilege, CWAY. That's also the place of privilege.
It could just be in love, too. I mean, this episode made me see Michelle is more into David. As much as she was trying to keep it cool, like she was trying to play it slow and slow ball this thing, I said, dang, you might like David more than he like you. And that's saying something, because he thirsty for old Madison. It just seemed
what
like he was...
Ike jeans jacket are you talking about, Easton?
I don't think Michelle's tears weren't about that.
I'm saying Madison. Madison liked... to me, it seemed like Madison liked David way more than she likes her.
No, Madison likes getting over on Michelle. This was all about getting over on Michelle. This ain't about David. Does she like David? Sure. But she liked getting a one-up on Michelle, because what was the reason for that energy? That was the meanest girl energy. She was just trying to show that Michelle ain't crap and she got her man. That's all that was about.
You need to go listen to the song I Got Your Man. That's Madison right now. The audacity of that song.
She wanted to see Michelle cry. She was happy. She was like, ooh, got her. She cried. I mean, it was nasty. It was evil, to be honest. Like,
I still have him.
Yeah,
I'm
I
still
got your
filming.
man, and I'm here, and what? That's all that was about. Look, I'm a woman. I can tell you. Women know. Women get more excited about getting over on another woman than they even do about the man that they're with. That's all that was about. Because remember when Michelle caught her talking trash about her in the group chat, and Michelle was like, "Why were you even talking about me? I haven't said anything bad about you. So you took her man and you're talking bad about her in the group chat? Like, come on now, girl. She really needs she needs to go pray."
That's to get a rise out of Michelle. Again, the thing is, as we saw, Michelle confronted her. She was pushed back on her heels a little bit. Now it's a matter of like, oh, you wanted to make me look bad, Michelle. So now I'm going to make you look bad by forcing you to crash out, forcing you to cry on camera. The thing is that Madison wanted those tears in front of her. She didn't get it. But Michelle did tear up because, and I don't think Michelle didn't cry because she's really sad. In my opinion, it was anger. Like, I can't throw this red Solo cup. I can't really act out and say what I want to say to Madison. I gotta hold this in, because no, it ain't about David. Sorry to do this to you, Easton. Sorry to burst that Y chromosome bubble, but it wasn't about David. It was woman to woman.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying their interaction seems like her and David's interactions now to me seem like she's a little bit more into David than she wanted to give us at the beginning. At first she was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna play it like real cool and we're gonna like take it slow," and it's like, no, you over here busting it wide open, and you go over here taking drinks and going on birthday dinners, and you like, it seems to me that she's a lot more into him than we like to give credit. And I mean, at this point, David is trying to like do damage control, but Madison is extremely immature, and so she's gonna make this thing even worse than what it is for him, and that's why nobody likes him.
Nola sent a $2 super chat and said, almost like she low-key didn't like her anyway. Nola, you talking about that, like Madison never liked Michelle? Is that what you mean? And Kojo would say, thank you for the super chat.
I kind of feel like Madison can't be that dumb, because that was just such a dumb comment to make that it was almost like it was just perplexed me, because there's been open hostility since this whole thing was revealed from literally everybody. Like, Michelle and Alan hate you. KARLA flat out said, like, "You're grimy and I would never want to be your friend." Thomas straight up reprimanded David in front of like the group and did it again at like after the decision day thing. Camille's been Camille, so like, why would she even get the idea that there would ever be support? Because literally almost all of the cast members were like, "This isn't it." So I almost feel like, even for her sake, like maybe they cut her off mid-sentence and it was like an editing thing where she was like, "Oh, we don't have the support from the other couples, but I get it, give them time," or something like that. But like, it just sounded so, I don't know, stupid, for lack of a better word, that like, I just couldn't even believe that she would even think for a moment that anyone would support her when everyone has been openly against their relationship since it started. And even Juan said, like, "You guys are gonna have problems, like, this doesn't look good for you guys." So I don't get why she would ever think there would be support so soon after. But when it comes to Michelle and Madison, honestly, I don't feel I don't know, I've had mixed emotions about this whole thing, because I've been struggling to feel sympathy for anyone except for like Alan, and even that's been like just a little bit of sympathy. Um, Actually, probably a little bit more sympathy than the others, but like, I'm struggling to feel sympathy for like a lot of them in this situation. It's just been hard, because at the end of the day, like, even though David is a dust bucket and I feel Michelle on like a deep spiritual level with that, he still didn't deserve the treatment that he got from her, like from the very beginning. Even though, like, you can clock a dust bucket and you don't have to treat a dust bucket like a dust bucket. You know what I mean? That's where your class comes in. That's where your upbringing, that's when your decorum comes into play. And she could have handled herself like KARLA did and been a queen about it and just, took the trash out, on decision day, and that would have been fine. And everyone would have been like, "Okay, cool. You don't want to deal with Dusty. It's fine. We all understand." But the fact that she was so disgustingly mean to that man for no reason, to be honest. Like, you barely know this person. So to me, it does say a lot about your character that you're willing to treat a stranger that way. Like, talking to him the way that she did, just the way that she would look at him, looking at him like he was trash. Like, I get it. Like, he's not where you're at, but he still didn't deserve that. And so the anger that she's feeling, as in the end, Michelle, like, yeah, she's mad that, like, she, basically she met her match with Madison, you know what I mean? But you lacked integrity. You treated someone terribly and you got your getting. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I struggle to feel bad for Michelle too, because I'm like, well, don't be horrible to people. And you won't, maybe, people will have a little bit more consideration for you as well. I don't know. That's how I feel. So it's just been hard regarding that. But yes, Madison is still trash as well. So, they found each other. That's lovely. They can live in a dumpster together and enjoy themselves. But I'm just not feeling any ounce of empathy for barely anyone except Alan. And even Alan is like, dude, you're telling this woman that you have love for her, like you're in love with her or something like that, and she has given you no reason to feel that way at all. So yeah, I'll leave it there.
Madison should look around and realize, well, Michelle ain't got the support of the cast either. I mean, they ain't really her friends. They ain't really supporting her either. I mean, they're there, but they're supportive of the fact that what Madison and David did was wrong, but they ain't really on Michelle's side.
Well, first and foremost, it was delusional by Madison. Can't lie to you. I thought it was a delusional statement. Now, the only way I can see this actually being a sensible statement is she was starting to go somewhere in the argument between herself and Michelle, where she started saying about Michelle was saying things about the whole group. And I wonder if that is what the sentiment was. Like, if I started talking and started telling what Michelle was really saying about y'all, none of y'all will be friends. You know what I mean? Like, none of y'all will be her friend. And I wonder if that's, something that maybe she was thinking about, because she was going towards there. She literally was talking about it. Like, didn't you say some things about the group that, something about they don't like you or something? She said some comment as when they were having a conversation in Juan's place where she was talking and David had to pull her away. She said something along those lines, and I was like, oh, so Michelle was talking about the group. It figures, because the way you were so mean to David, ain't no way you gonna have a high opinion of everybody else. Okay, so I think that's why I think what's happened there, and that's where Madison has to also be honest. That's mutual destruction, because in order to highlight Michelle's bad behaviors, you have to also highlight your bad behavior, right? You have to highlight the fact that maybe for Madison, and if I'm honest with you, I think Madison in her head said, I was never Michelle's friend. She thinks I was her friend, but you was talking trash about everybody, so I can never trust you, right? Which is fine. I actually understand that. The problem is, right, that you don't talk somebody else's man by doing the exact same behavior, which is you did the exact thing to Alan, which is you played a role, so now you look duplicitous. So you can't even be like, well, I tried to be her friend, but I was pretending, I was faking it. Well, you was faking it for Alan too. So now it looks like a character trait when, of course, it's a flaw. So it just looks bad. So she can only expose Michelle to a point before it becomes mutual destruction about how bad she is as well. And she is unwilling to be a villain. And that's the biggest issue that she's facing right now. Like, my thing is like, Madison, if you did it, own it. Like, just own it. Like, own it and be like, listen, yeah, I did it. I did the crime. I deserve the time, and I know you guys are not gonna be happy with me for a little while. It is what it is. I have to hold the L. But you trying to win the plaudits and the affection of the crowd makes no sense, Madison. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't win that because you done broke the crowd and with your behavior by taking somebody else's man, even if Michelle did not like that man. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I just think that she needs to stop trying to be an angel here. You are an absolute devil, unfortunately, to the audience perspective of taking someone else's man in that group. And you have to own it. That's what happens when you do that kind of behavior. You have to own it. You know what I mean? So, but I understand. Any other thoughts on Michelle and Madison's beef that they had? Shout out to David for pulling himself out there, though.
No, we're all circling the drain, I think, at this point, But I love the way you just you kind of brought it in because, you know, when so many people's hands are dirty, what do they say? It's best to just walk away. So she shouldn't even went there, because even if she aired Michelle out, they're gonna still turn around and say, well, whatever, you still had the bigger, you know, what do you call it, the biggest kind of deceitful, you know, actions. And so really at that point, you best to just wash your hands of it and walk away. So it is what it is. Oh, but can we talk about Alan though?
You know, I got plenty of time for that.
And you know what?
Whoa.
Are we not at Alan yet?
Well, everyone's finished their points. Have you finished your point? Sean, you leant forward like you were going to say something.
I just want to make sure you weren't leaving these four.
I just don't want Easton to. I don't want to spend a half an hour talking about Alan. I'm tired. But please, that's why I lean forward, because I'm like, not this again. We've heard this for the last 12 weeks. We got it. So
I did want to say, Alan, I wanted to say he was right about something. I did want to give him his credit for being right about something.
All right, before you get there, let me read out the super chats, because there was some super chats that are attached to this. So let me read out the super chats that you guys can talk about the Alan experience. Shout out to Jean. She dropped a little one that it died sticker. And I appreciate that, Jean. Thank you very much. You are appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate you heavily. Valerie said Madison had the audacity wearing that red eyeshadow. I know she was going to. Apparently, she was going to a Halloween party. I mean, she looked dashing. You know what I mean? They both were looking very happy, I should say. Rose said, I had the gall to talk about Michelle never liking David when she never liked Alan and treated him like Madison can kind of go tell. And that's such another point. That's such a really good point, that Madison can't be on a high horse when she out here was wholeheartedly treating a man wrong and letting him think he had a chance, dressing him up. That's where someone needs to gather her up. I think someone needs to that's why I said Michelle's not really invested in really trying, because that's where she should have gathered her up. She should have gathered her up like an Infinity Stones and said, listen, was you not the one that made him spend £3,000? Was you not the one that was also doing this? Was you not the one that didn't give him a kiss? Are you not the one? There should have been a whole list Michelle should have come with, but she was more invested in just trying to fight her because of David. She's more pissed because she liked the guy that definitely was not on her level. Thank you very much for that super chat. It's very, very on point. No, this says almost like she low-key didn't like her anyway. You're absolutely right. I don't think she liked her. I think you're actually on the ball on that one. And Rose says, Mad is low barrel. Imagine winning and still unsatisfied. They said, I'm still unsatisfied with where... Okay, let's stop. Mr. Don't Play, shout out to you, bro. It's good seeing you always in the chat, my brother. Says, I don't think Michelle is liked amongst her cast members. Says a lot about who she is. She barely got any friends in real life. Yeah, I think that is it, because I think they tolerate her. I won't lie to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they tolerate her than anything. But obviously, they still hang out with her because she's part of the experiment, and they do hang out after. I saw some pictures where they all hang out together. But who's to say that they actually really are cool? You know what I mean? So I definitely hear that as well. You know, definitely hear that. All right, cool. Well, obviously, Alan obviously then let us know that he spoke a conversation with Juan, and he said obviously he was thinking about being out there in them streets. Okay, all right, which I understood. First of all, I want to just give Alan his plaudits. I have, shot him a few times during the course of this season where I said he has to be accountable. I want to commend him, especially as what else has said. I think it's wonderful and amazing that he held it down in the face of his enemies. That brother was a cool cucumber. He could have said one or two things, because definitely I got a petty bone in me. I'd have dropped a few bars. But, he didn't do that. He held it down, and I have to respect that. 100%. He held it down, at Juan's place. He held it down at the birthday party. Seeing your enemies right in front of you like that will make your heart wrench. You know what I'm saying to you? So I have to give him some plaudits. It was very, very strong of him to do so. And, I'll definitely have to drop an individual video just to appreciate that as a man, how you handle those scenarios when someone has done the cheating on you and you have to be in a space within a small amount of time. Because it's not long ago. You know what I mean? That he was dragged. So shout out to him as well. I gotta respect that it takes balls. So respect that as well. Okay, Alan, obviously situation with Juan. Juan obviously had a conversation with me. He said obviously that he wants to be out in them streets running wild. He want to sow them royal oats. out there. And I think he realized he didn't want to do it anymore. But he did have the one-off. So I think he got a little bit out of his system. I'm not going to be mad at him. He got out of his system, but he realized this is not the life for him. And I knew that Alan wasn't about that life. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'm glad he only took one before it spoke some sense into him. Want to get your thoughts on Alan and the one conversation when it was about, you know, him being out in them streets. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know what your thoughts are. How you feel about Alan? Elsa, why are you making that face?
How do we know it's one time? He said urges. He said plural. Why are you trying to change what the man said? You know, I appreciate what you say to your fellow brethren, Alan, but you do know that he used someone in his quest to satisfy his urges, right? Okay. He used someone. Mutual. Are we sure it's mutual? See, you're putting words in his mouth again. Did this person know that they were an urge?
He put on his thing. He wanted hookups only. Elsie, he put on there.
He didn't want a relationship.
Yeah, he put
did
that
not
on
want
there.
a relationship. Put his status. Okay, so that still don't say he gonna use the person, but I will let that one rest. But yes, Alan went out there. He put himself back out there, and you know, technically I'm fine with it, but I can see Alan getting himself into some trouble because he ain't really a dark arts player as deep as some folks I know. So I'm glad he's able to vocalize it. I'm glad he got it out of his system if that is what he needed. But I'm not sure that Alan has purged this from his system. Not at all. But we gonna wish him well. We gonna wish him all the best. But it's the way he worded things. I was like, ooh, Alan, you're not as nice, you know, in your wording as you are presenting to be.
I just want to say the only thing I still don't agree with Easton's "don't be a nice guy" tirade, just to be clear. But what I do agree with is that unfortunately Alan gave a little bit of credence that some of his nice behavior was a means to an end. That when he was able to eat Madison up for her Jezebel behavior, he wasted that time. Talk about he finally got some booty. I'm like, what? You could have had your Oscar moment. And you spent the time talking about you finally got the booty that you wanted. I said, now you're going to make me have to go back and tell Easton he had a point, which I will do if you have a point. I hated to say it. I hate it. But one thing about me, I'm going to tell the truth. And I was listening and I said, that gosh darn, well, broken clock is going to be right 2 times a day. So this broken clock, you was right, because I'm just like, what the hell did he do that for? Now, he did come back and say that he, you know, he wasn't really about that life and, you know, he was just figuring stuff out. But he definitely gave that he was, you know, he had a slight bit of ulterior motives, and I didn't like that, because when he had a time to clap back on her, he should have been talking about the devastation of the relationship, or just talking about how she wasted his time in general. But then he was talking about how he finally got some booty. I said, you lost me. Lost me. Rose, I agree. We normally be locked in. Him wanting the booty is not the bad thing. The problem is you spend your one moment and you tell her about your 304 face. That's it.
Even worse if the urge lady looked like Madison, because that's what I heard when he said that. He finally got the booty you wanted. I was like, please don't tell me that array of women look like Madison.
All right. So now I see that a man has needs. Interesting, if you will. But I digress. As I've been stating a lot of this time, I might not be right at the moment, but I'll be right sooner or later down the road. And I've been right. You see how Alan he was calm, cool, and collected when he got some cutty. When my boy got some cutty, he was chill. He didn't punch no cabinets. He didn't kick no drawers. He didn't act all outside of himself because that's what he really wanted. That's what he really wanted, y'all. He did all that because he really wanted the validation. Okay, I got 4 minutes and 18 seconds left. He wanted validation. And for some guys, validation can be, words of affirmation, but let's be honest. We be lying on that love language. We be straight to the physical touch. And that's what Alan wanted. My boy Alan, he said, I want what Madison has to offer. And he wasn't getting it. So he was like, let me see how I can kind of rig this thing up. Let's see if I win this competition, maybe she'll give me a kiss. If I be the nice guy and I stand up to IKECHI, maybe she'll like me a little bit more and I'll get some love then. I'll even pay $3,000 and get my teeth fixed for that cutty. And it didn't work. So what happened when he didn't get it? Oh, that boy crashed out. But then what did he do? Like most men do. We find somebody else to satisfy the urge. It's not right, but he did it. And that's what told me he's just like all of us. He's not this guy that we all built him up to be. And it is what it is. I'll land the plane there because I, again, at Twin, gave me my credit and I'll give her credit when she's right because she's right a lot of the time. And y'all keep doing y'all thing, chat, because this dog was right. The sun shined on his ass once a day, and today was that day.
Well, I appreciate your brevity. Thank you very much. And you got your flowers. You were right about Alan. And listen, Alan needs to get himself together. I've been saying it, y'all actually castigated me because I told him he needs to wear better drawers and put the broccoli away. And y'all was having a fit with me while the man was in the chat telling me that he was open to feedback because he's a little on the weird side. And now we're just seeing that weirdness come out again, so I need Kojo to give me my flowers because he was all, let him be, let him be, while he needs to be who he is, he's going to find somebody that loves him. Yeah, well, he gonna find some weird things and he gonna be, getting what he got. So I just need Alan to maybe get a matchmaker. He's got, he got the funds. He has the wardrobe, the car, the condo. Maybe get a matchmaker just to help him out a little bit, help him refine his words, because that conversation was very awkward, and there's nothing wrong with him, two consenting adults having a good time doing whatever they want to do. But the way he's positioning it, and Juan was a little bit too much invested in the conversation, if you ask me as well, but that's an aside. But yeah, it was all awkward, very weird. I need Alan to get it together and fix it up if he really wants to find that one person, which he says that's what he wants. You want to find somebody that's going to give you the things that you want. Otherwise, you're going to have more transactional moments.
So he turned into what he accused Madison of being, transactional. Okay.
I just want to say I don't have no clue what Sean talking about I need to give him his flowers. He out here deflecting on here. Listen, Adam, you want to wear those broccoli flowers? Wear it with pride. I've said that before and I'll say it again. I'll stand 10 toes down. Hey, wear them boxers. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, because it's about the confidence of wearing it. You understand? Yeah. But listen, hey, look, I actually don't think it's that bad. I can't lie to you. But then again, I've said what I've said about Alan the whole season. So I think, to me, listen, I get it. Boy wanted some cutter. You know what I mean? He wanted to be in deep, and he needed a release. Okay, all right. I'm not going to kill him for that, but I do understand where you guys are going with the argument in terms of that respect. Is that the flowers?
I prefer orange.
The way he
orange
tulips. It was the way he was talking about it. It gave me the ick. I'm like, why are you? It was just.
But it's because I tell you why, because he doesn't have no smoothness. That's why it has no smoothness. The way he said it was like someone can say, "Yo, last night I got something," and you be like, "Oh," And someone will be like, "Yeah, I got some last night," and it's like, "Whoa!" It's the way you say it. It's the way. You know what I mean? Like, I think his way of. I think also we look at Alan, we don't look at him that way, which is, I guess, the nice guy persona aspect. You know what I'm saying to you? So
he said, "I got my urges off."
Juan clocked him. Juan clocked him. If we listen to the conversation, Juan clocked him because he said it was basically two different versions of yourself, and he's like, you have your outside version and then your inside. Juan actually clocked him, and that's what I've been saying. He has an outside persona where where most nice guys perceive themselves as being nice and gracious and good, but internally they have different reasons and different appetites for certain things, and he wanted the validation physically.
When's Juan gonna clock himself?
He said, I'm trying to get that business off the ground.
Oh, okay.
The same time Karla clocks herself. How
what
about
does
that?
Karla need to clock? Don't start.
I wrote down, I got notes. Everybody this episode was messed up. It showed me their weaknesses. Karla, everybody thinks that she's emotionally intelligent. She's emotionally intelligent as a friend, but in terms of her relationship skills, she's not that emotionally intelligent or advanced. She is a hairstylist, much like a barber, so they're very socially adept, but in terms of relationships, they're not. I'm not saying they're not specifically, but they might have a little bit of a deficiency, or there might be some areas where she can improve on. I have a hard time.
What should have Karla done different? And please don't do the no car, no job bullcrap. What should Karla have done differently? What was your notes? What did your notes say?
No, with Karla, there was no notes because both of them were trying to be friends. I'm saying that we're pedestalizing Karla without knowing anything. The same way we neg Juan. They both were operating.
Why are you pedestalizing Juan?
Because everybody's negging him. Everybody's saying he's trash. And I said, we don't know anything.
Based on what other people are doing? Or do you really happen to see?
No, I said he was immature. Earlier this live, I said he's very immature. And where he lacks in that area, he did make up with some sound advice in terms of like with the relationship.
I just want the notes. You said you took notes, and I haven't heard a single footnote in notes.
My notes on Karla was in the beginning. I felt like she was being really petty and vindictive a tad bit with the whole friendship thing. Granted, she's setting boundaries, so I'm not going to be the boundary police because I don't want everybody to be like, Easton's the boundary police. People can't have boundaries today. I'm not going to do that. All I'm saying is we put Karla in this box that she's. No, I'm just saying we put Karla in a box that she's emotionally intelligent and that she's so superior because she's able to read rooms and stuff like that. And I'm saying her relationships, like she wasn't. To me, it seemed like there's a lack of her emotional intelligence in the relationship area. That's just my opinion.
Go ahead, Elspeth.
I think what Easton is trying to say is Karla's very good at giving advice to her friends, but maybe she's not introspective for herself, especially when she sat on that couch on decision day and said this is the healthiest relationship she's ever been in. So maybe she can give great sound sage advice to everyone, but maybe the sage has minimal effect on herself, just the mirror effect.
I'm just trying to figure out what advices she was giving to other people she should have gave to herself in this process.
Maybe be quiet or not. She shouldn't have been on the whole. She shouldn't have been on the whole in the bus
be
talking
quiet?
about. She should. To me,
I
feel
that, Easton. You don't mean
no.
That.
No, I don't think.
You don't mean that.
Y'all not even let me get my point out.
Repurpose your words. Listen, you've had the floor quite some time. I think you just need to choose better words.
Y'all asked me a question. I felt like she shouldn't have said so much on that first bus ride. That first bus ride where she was talking about the magic wand and how I felt like that wasn't the best time. She should have been, when you're just finding out and introducing yourself to a new group, she got real deep, real personal about real intimate things before you even knew who these people were. And you have a new a husband that you just got into a relationship with 24 or 48 hours ago. I think that if she was more quiet, if she was a little bit more quiet, then maybe she would have been able to like figure out, hey, maybe I don't need to like express myself right here in this time until I get to know these people a little bit more. Because I'm saying if she would have done what she did that first day later on, I think that she would have had a completely different experience.
Easton, how would it sound if I said you need to be quiet so that the chat could understand you better?
I mean, maybe I could have chose better wording. I'm just saying that I felt like Juan was off that bus because she said the magic wand, and she was talking about the intimacy and the energy transfer and stuff. I felt like that was the first thing, the straw that broke the camel's back, and the camel was already weak.
Issa, you know how I know you're a walking enigma? Because you rock with me and I'm your twin in them. But then you do not want women to be outspoken on these shows. As soon as they get to saying too much, but then you like me, I don't get it. I'm confused. So you be picking and choosing. You pick and choose.
No, it's the nature of the relationship. You might not operate the same way you do in your relationship as you do in on these panels. It's a completely different person. I don't expect the same CWAY to show up as a wife as I do as a panelist. That's not the thing. I'm saying if I'm meeting somebody who's supposed to be my husband or my wife, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to go out the gate and go full nerd on her. I'm not going to be like, yeah, I got toys and I got screens and I got games and all. No, I'm going to be chill. And then as you get to know me, then we can kind of build into that.
You're going to mask. You're going to mask.
No,
you allow her to see who you really are.
No, I think you gradually get to introduce people into your hobbies and in your.
Do it in doses.
I got it, but even if that is true, the thing is, even if I say I agree with Easton, let's just say I do agree that people shouldn't be doing too much on the first day. Fine, that is not why Wancho doesn't like Karla. So it really doesn't matter. I get what you're saying, Easton. I get what you're saying, but you know, in this case, did it matter?
Yes. It was a distinct change. If you ask,
not dog lie, Easton.
It was a distinct change in his demeanor as soon as she got on that bus and was like, "Yeah, everybody's got to find their own special one." It's an energy transference. You even saw the rest of the people be like, "Is this chick off a rocker?" Like they were like that. What are you talking about? We have in revisionist history.
That's not what I saw. That's not what I saw. I actually saw most people were having fun with it in that conversation. And even on the after party, Alan was like, she's right though. But anyway, if a grown man is going to be turned off by a woman stating her value and saying, I'm not just going to sleep around with anyone because of that transfer of energy, the substance of what she was saying was, be mindful of who you sleep with. And she essentially was saying, I'm mindful of who I am intimate with because I don't want to be tied to someone that could affect my vibe. I mean, that whole what is it called, soul tie? I don't know if I believe in that stuff necessarily, but she was basically saying, I'm not just out here sleeping around, and I don't know what man wouldn't value a woman for valuing her body in that way. Like that's just completely ridiculous to say a guy is turned off by that. It's just absolutely asinine. But I do think that Juan's demeanor changed on a honeymoon, just not because of that moment though. His vibe changed on the honeymoon when Karla didn't just let it go that he forgot about her and was just like off gallivanting with David. He just said something that was super flippant that obviously was hurtful to her, and the fact that like she didn't just let that one slide and she actually got a little bit of passive aggressive with him was when his vibe actually shifted. That's when I noticed like he was like, oh my gosh, why are people being passive aggressive? Why can't people just communicate? And I noticed ever since that moment. And then remember they had the photo shoot after, and she was again being very distant, very isolative. Even though it was supposed to be an intimate moment, you can just tell that she was still pissed off, still really upset at him, and she made him feel it basically. And I do think that Karla could have done better in that moment because yes, there were strangers and they were getting to know each other, and she could have probably, I wouldn't say let it slide, but she could have probably given him a little bit more grace and found a little bit more forgiveness as opposed to really kind of like ruining the feels and like making him feel her anger in that way when again like you're just getting to know this person. She could have handled that differently, and I think when he saw that side of her was when he started pulling back and everything kind of went downhill from there. At least that's
he
what
pulled
I
back Lin when he was all up in David's face. He pulled back
basically
David's face, and then he pulled back some more when she called him out for being in David's face. So clock that T. That's really what it's about. And I'm going to leave it there because people like to regulate what I say on this platform who aren't even running the platform. But I'll just say that David, he pulled back when he saw David. Anyway.
But truth be told, though, as the season went by, I was kind of thinking, and I don't like to speculate on people's sexuality like that, but he is giving me asexual, to be honest. Like, Juan does not give me a man that is comfortable in his heterosexuality. I don't know. I'll leave it there.
Usai. All right. We got to understand Juan's background. Juan is coming from a Latino background. He's a Latin man. I think that he's a Latin man, a Latino.
Say it again.
He's Latino.
All right.
Or he's part of the Latinx community. And with that being said,
no,
I'm sure
he's not in the Latinx community. That's only the basement dweller, not him.
Look, all I'm saying
Hispanic. He's Hispanic.
He's Hispanic. He's Latin. Isn't he Colombian? Either way, neither here nor there. With Juan, I'm sure that there's a huge religious component to it. Most Hispanics are Catholic, but I'm not here to speculate. But let's go back to the furthest point. When he did actually form any type of example as to why him and Karla didn't connect, he said it was foundational aspects, leaning towards the spirituality, and it was the financial component. Now, if on my first day of meeting my wife, she's talking about the spiritual essence and your energy transferring to another person and your magical wand being for this person, that would be a direct indicator as to why I would be a little bit icked out, or maybe have some issues or friction with her from a relationship standpoint. Also, again, we can say the financial stuff, but I'm just saying from a spiritual aspect, I think that was a huge component. And the first moment of that being indicative in their relationship was on that bus ride back. We can say that we can spray it up and make it look pretty, that she was saying, oh, you should be able to be selective about who you want to be with and who you're sleeping with. But let's be for real. When it comes to some of the spirituality aspects, it's also being free spirited and having a free nature. And maybe Juan is a little bit more conservative than that. And he might not necessarily want his significant other to be talking about that, especially as they're just now meeting. I'm not saying this to police anybody's bodies or anything like that. I'm just saying that Juan looked to me that he had some type of issues when she was having that, I guess, kind of analogy, or she was just bringing up those points on the bus ride with everybody. And we can say that everybody was just laughing and having a good time, but it seems like they were just laughing with it because it seemed like it was like an awkward moment for everybody on the bus ride, because they're like, how do I respond to this? There wasn't a lot of responses back to Karla.
Wait, but Ethan, Juan actually admitted to sleeping with women very quickly. Like, he said that out of his mouth, and he said that he was taking things slowly with Karla because he was doing things differently. So you can't say that he's a conservative man when he's openly admitting to being a hell, basically, like, out in the streets. So, like, you can't say he's conservative. Wow. He's not conservative at all. He's willing to sleep with anything very quickly. Well, maybe not anything, but he's willing to sleep with women very quickly and has done so in the past. So he's not conservative. Actually, Karla is expressing way more conservative values than Juan is. When you look at the substance of what she's saying, it's not prettying it up. She literally is saying, be selective with who you sleep with. That was literally her message. So she is expressing more conservative values, using more colorful language, yes, but she is expressing more conservative values than Juan ever did.
So maybe it's the David factor. Maybe David from Love is Blind. Maybe for the women that he's out in the streets with, if we're going to believe that, I'll leave that to y'all. I won't opine on that. But maybe the women or whoever he's in the streets with is one thing, but when he gets married, he wants the person to be a different way, kind of like Dave from Love is Blind. So that could be possible, that he had a different way he wanted to view her. I don't know. The thing is that we don't know. I'm sorry, Kojo, for even bringing Juan up, because at this point, the experts didn't ask him no real questions, so we really don't have no real answers.
We do have real answers. He said it himself. We don't have to ask. He said the reason why he didn't find Karla as attractive. But I wanted to go back to Lin. I find it interesting that now Juan can't have boundaries. He can't have he can't put things in place. But we have Karla put boundaries. I find that interesting.
We have to have a sound effect, Kojo.
I find it interesting. Now that this man has some boundaries,
I need you to get
Lin
a
has
sound
now.
Somebody drop these things off the
Lin is now the head of head
Bravo,
deputy
guys.
of the
Just
Boundary
take
Police.
his camera off.
She is the head of the Boundary Police.
Dude, now you twisted my words, Easton. I literally said that you called Juan conservative. You were trying to claim that he's conservative, and we're trying to claim that he's this goody two shoes conservative Catholic whatever he is man, and he's not. He's admitted to being a 304 out there, like sleeping with anyone anytime.
So I can't change my ways. So I can't see the
No.
goodness of the Lord and change my ways.
I'm not saying you can't, but what I'm saying is you claim that he is a conservative man, and up to that point, he was not a conservative man, whereas Karla actually is a conservative woman and has expressed those viewpoints. But you're like reversing it. It's you're trying to reverse it, and it's not. Like you're trying to claim that Karla is the one who's out there who's like a freaky dicky woman, and she's not. She's expressing conservative values. Yeah, her language is colorful. She might know more adjectives than some of us on this panel, or maybe she's an artistic person, so she uses language in interesting ways. But you look at the substance of what she's saying, even plainly, like she's expressing conservative values. Be mindful of who you sleep with because that stuff matters. Whereas Juan has said, I slept with so many different women very quickly in the past, and I want to do things differently now. Whereas Karla has always been like that. So yeah, she's conservative. She's a conservative woman. She is. So
I think you're using my word.
Hold on, Easton. Hold on. I think in the sense of the fact that she's having this intimate conversation in a group of strangers, I think is the part for me that is not conservative. That is the part. You don't know any of these people. And that's why I think in some regard, it's the fact that she's having this as a very public conversation that may be, looking sideways. I don't think it's a complete turn off. I think as someone said before, it is he was still harping on, you don't leave Karla, you do not forget about Karla. I think when she dug in about that, and that was a trauma response for her, I think that kind of flipped a switch with him, and he was just like, yeah, whatever. And they came to, I guess, their pact after that. But I think in some regard, yes, we do have freedom of speech. We do have freedom of speech. In some regard, that does not negate the fact that someone may be turned off by not what we say, how we say it. I mean, people get turned off with how I say things a lot on these panels. So I could totally understand that perspective. And Easton, the timer has gone off. So can we please have another topic?
I mean, you can talk as long as you want to talk. I don't know. I didn't tell you have to stop. You guys were enjoying it.
El Cid is now the deputy of the time.
I didn't deputize anybody about anything. You guys can talk as long as you want to.
I'm not deputized. I am not deputized at all.
But, it sounds like you guys put some stuff off your chest. Yes, Sean.
Well, El Cid's the deputy, and you got some bodyguards. Easton got some bodyguards in the chat.
Since we into sanitizing what people say, I guess what El Cid was reacting to was the fact that somebody in the comment section, one of Easton's, his 2-3 fans that he has that want to ride for him and let their capes flap in the wind, seems like they want to question if he has free speech. So I just asked them to define what free speech was. And El Cid was just reacting to that because, people like to feel like, oh, we're ganging up on him. No, let me tell you, look, this guy loves every minute of this. And this is why he does it. He drags us in to circle down the drain. That's it. So he loves this back and forth banter. Let me tell you, I'm gonna speak for you. I'm a mansplain for you. How about that, Easton?
Yeah, thank you.
Not when he's in his Ike uniform, please. Not when he's in his Ike uniform.
I don't want to be accused of
havoc with the beanie and the denim jacket.
I don't want to police nobody. I ain't trying to police nobody's body or how people talk. Because y'all try to jump on me like that. I said no. Easton ain't nope. Y'all not gonna do that to me. I was just saying, hey, Juan, I could relate to him because if I heard somebody or I've been in a place where I've heard somebody that I was interested in talk about intimacy so willy-nilly, and it gave me a little bit of the ick, and I could see that for Juan. Just saying.
Okay.
I'm not mad at it.
That's fair.
I'm not mad at it. I think y'all had a good conversation. I was enjoying the back and forth you guys were having.
I know, but sometimes people get, they get a little They get
Okay,
a
yeah,
little,
they can.
you know, when the
No, I
banter
think you
gets
guys.
back and forth.
No, it's not. It's not.
We
Easton.
were fine collectively. I mean, we were fine.
But you know, there's a group of women. You know, there's definitely the group of women who feel like they need to coddle men. There's a lot of those women.
Steven, what the hell?
No,
See, this is what
What
happens.
the hell is going on?
there's a group of
Wait,
women
why-
who
why
definitely
don't we-
feel like that when they see Easton, they see a little baby in the Ike uniform that they need to coddle. That's what they do.
They see that I'm bringing up
They
valuable
just
points.
like his points.
No,
Yeah,
no,
my points are solid.
it's a group of women who love to coddle men, and they can't help it. They can't even help it. They can't do anything different.
It's okay. We're gonna talk about the sisterhood.
Now you shaming the women that actually like you're shaming the women that actually like Easton.
Oh no, I'm not shaming people. I like Easton, so I be shaming myself.
We don't talk
I
about the
asked for
sisterhood.
Easton to
You don't
come
have
up
no
on
respect.
I asked for Easton to come up on the panels. I like Easton. It's not
I
a
just
party
get
unless
our points.
Easton is there.
You know, where you got to take that back because you're indirectly shaming the women.
Oh no, I'm
If you don't
directly.
And then he
shaming
said,
them.
drop
I'm
him down.
No, I'm directly shaming them, not indirectly. It's direct.
He said, drop him off, drop him down, put him in the back. He said that.
You like Easton. I
You're
like Easton. I hate a
I know,
panel
it's
that
a twin.
Easton is not there. So
All I'm saying is maybe I bring up really good points and it's like thought provoking. They're like, dang, Easton. I mean, I know you take you like 10 minutes to get to your point, but it might be right.
you're actually not that long winded to me. To me,
You know what? I'm agree with CWAY. Some of those people on the edge. You're on the edge.
Take it back. That's because you be popping in and TikToking. Let me tell you, as somebody who sits in here for hours, this man can go. It's interesting. I can tell you that. It's not like it comes off as rambling. It is interesting.
But that's what it is. That's what it is, Sean. I have a short attention span. And when Easton gets going, I'm going through the ups and downs of the chaos of it all. So I don't think it feels long-winded to me because I'm paying attention.
Even Druzy, who is the president of his fan club, said he's little right there.
Oh no, Druzy's not the fan club. He got a bigger president than that. He got a few other ones.
No, Druzy does like him. Although I'm sorry, he doesn't like her name mentioned. I apologize.
You gonna gather some more fans around here, don't you worry.
No, I'm telling you, Coco's the president of the fan club. Talk about don't bully Easton. He's another one with the cape out. Okay, so there's a few of y'all. Y'all in good company. The ones with
but Kojo's protection of him is also self-interest because it keeps this banter going. So
absolutely.
These folks have no skin in the game.
We can't hear you. Your mic's off, bro.
Oh, fresh and fit. They call They call us fresh and fit.
Please don't quote their name.
I'm not fresh and fit.
They've called us all Kevin Samuels before, so you know what I mean. There's nothing new around here. I can tell you this now.
Look,
it's nothing new around here, mate. You go on and be great, Easton, on this channel. We appreciate.
I appreciate it. A safe space, the chat. Lovely people in the chat. Lovely panel.
I pray that over you because you are a menace.
you have to appreciate their collective voices on this panel. It creates such a vivacious and audacious conversation. You know what I'm saying too? So I appreciate Easton's point of view. I don't always agree, but I appreciate the point of view.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying to you? So maybe, one was turned off by her at the bus. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
we may never know.
Right. Well, we won't know.
We won't know.
Jason, fresh and funky.
No way. Hey, so we go on the way.
All right. That was a good one.
Thing.
I like that.
I got you, bro. It's a me and you thing.
Easton, what is this Ike attire? What you got going on? You like to do a poetry slam.
What I'm coming to do is talk about how the sisterhood failed to mem. But we'll get on that topic here in a little bit.
Damn.
The sisterhood failed to mem. The sisterhood failed to mem.
How did the sisterhood have anything to do with this? Lord,
the sisterhood failed to mem. Her apartment.
We're gonna get there. Don't explain it now. We're gonna get there. You have to explain it because I don't know if I agree with that. But listen, as El said, the enforcer said, let's move it on, okay? Because it's time. Listen, Y'all made me laugh, boy. Okay, so we were on Alan's urges, and I think you guys have said your thoughts on Alan's urges. If Alan's listening, hey, I still like you. You know what I'm saying to you? Listen, you had to get it off. You know what I'm saying to you? You know, I'm with you. Okay, it's a personal vendetta that Easton's got on you. I don't have that same vendetta. Anyway, so let's let's get on. Let me read the super chats. Let me read the super chats before we get going as well, because some people some things. Rose once more said, "People resort to a hookup culture when they are void of love. Doesn't mean he was never genuine. He came to find a wife and sadly didn't get that." I totally hear what you're saying, Rose, on that. It's understandable on that point. Nola said, "Cap doses," but Camille had to rock the mic off rip. I hear what you're saying. I think it's contextually different, but I hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So check mic 1 2 1 2. I hear you. And then Lola follows it up by saying, "Juan told the world he was a 304. Now he's private." Well, Juan did say he was a 304, but 304s want to change, and we have to honor the fact that they want to make that change. And when they do, sometimes they don't want a fellow 304. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying to you. But he has to hold that down, because as far as I'm concerned, he got some big issues that he never exposed. And I wish they exposed both him and Karla a bit more, so we could actually understand where they're coming from. I think both of them needed to have been drawn out a bit more. But hey, they did a good job in protecting each other. Okay, let's get to the next one. Y'all keep me crying out here. So obviously this is the EMEM and IKECHI conversation. Now, okay, the fellas, okay, I gotta drop you, because I promised the ladies will go first. They have a little bit of time, so get comfortable in the background, okay. But it will be the ladies chatting up first. I know, Easton, you was ready, weren't you? I understand, but the ladies gonna go first, so they can chop it up for a little bit. I promised them, and I want to follow through my promises. Okay, Sean will say, cut it out. Okay, so let me drop the man them down. And I'm going to play a role just asking questions. I will not part of the discussion. I'll just ask questions so the ladies can have their discussional points as well. Okay. So the men, I'll bring you back up in a bit. Okay. So ladies, we are going to be talking about the IKECHI and Brandon and EMEM. So I want to get your first thoughts. EMEM, Brandon situation. I want to understand where you ladies are standing on this issue, because it seemed very fast in terms of Brandon and EMEM, the conversation that they had. In fact, let me start there with our first question. EMEM and Brandon had a conversation about why he was divorced. I want to know, what were your thoughts about his explanation around his divorce? He talked about a car analogy, a yada yada, a yada yada, a yada yada, and I want to get your perspectives on that as well. Yes, CWAY.
I mean, just on that alone, MM's pick me thirsty behavior stops her from asking their critical questions. If a man has been in a marriage for 10 years and I don't know what was cut off, but all he said was he was in a car going the wrong direction for 10 years. That's just not enough information. To me, you have kids with this woman, you built a life with this woman. I need to fully understand why it didn't work out. And to me, you could tell that there wasn't much cut out. She didn't even seem interested in asking questions. And like Felicia said, who knows? It seemed like they already had a lot of these off-camera conversations that probably still weren't, worth crap. So no, his explanation about his marriage was not sufficient. And I'll leave it there.
Oh, Sid?
Whether this is fake or real, MM comes out looking real bad. The minute I saw it, I felt like Brandon was fake. When he said that about the tunnel and the light at the end of the tunnel, Brandon, that light could be a train coming towards you, okay? That light don't always have to mean happiness. It could be a train. So there's a lot of things. As CWAY said, it is the marriage. The divorce is not final. He has 2 children. Child support has not been declared. He is couch surfing with his sister. So my thing with MM is, that's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of vagueness happening. Vagueness that you just don't know. Technically, you just put this man's divorce proceedings in a new light. Because if he's with you on camera, filmed for all to see and gather from the channel, this wife can bring him up on adultery. And he proposed to another woman. Yeah, you have just given her film documentation to really get at him in court. This is not thought out. I mean, come on. I was like, y'all are really sinking this low. Sinking this low. So I'm hoping for his sake that he's already divorced and they just playing for the camera. Because if he isn't, you know, if I was his soon-to-be ex-wife, I would be playing this in front of the judge. Because clearly he could be caught up on adultery. Now, he could go live at the fire station house because he could certainly stay there even if he's off shift. If he's supposed to be a lieutenant, as he said, that I don't believe, I don't know. But, you know, one of the things with the fire service, yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone because I could go down a rabbit hole. My grandfather was a firefighter for 40 years, but Brandon is looking hella wild. Is looking hella thirsty. And I don't buy it, just the cousin's tame reaction to it. Because he had a whole lot of vim and vigor for Ike. That tame reaction of a cousin had me looking at this whole thing side-eye. He's like, y'all moving a little too quick. But that was a little too tame for me.
My Nigerian sister, she's down bad though. She's down bad. Like, honestly, it was just a lot of desperation this season. People desperate to change their storylines, people desperate for love, people desperate and idolizing marriage. And this is where you end up when you operate from a place of desperation. You end up in these situations. And ma'am, she could have gone out so much better. And my gosh, like, honestly, I feel bad for her. I feel like she looks way worse. Like, the letter was bad enough, you know, kind of gave a pass for that. It's like, it's okay, you can crash out. You'll eventually level out. You'll eventually be okay. But I think I said last week that she was a well-adjusted person. I have to walk that all the way back, like all the way back, because this is not giving well-adjusted at all. This is giving just unhinged, like, concerning behavior. Now, word on the street is that she, like, word on the street was that this is actually not a new relationship, like, that she was actually with this guy from before, and I guess that he was kind of, like, dragging his feet on, like, his divorce and, you know, basically, like, cutting those ties, and so she broke it off with him before, she got on the show, and so that's why there wasn't as much, like, questioning, and, like, they pretty much, you know, if you look at, like, David and Madison to do that comparison, they were operating as if they've, you know, had a thing from way before. It's not giving, like, a 2-week relationship, you know? So I do think there's a little bit of lying going on here, like, or, you know, we're not getting the full story because it's just not making a whole lot of sense at all. Like, and the way that that they're so close and so, like, immediately, you know, demonstrating such, like, intimacy with one another, it's not giving new relationship, you know? So I kind of do want kind of lean into that a little bit as far as, like, that little rumor, but also I do wonder, like, she could have also just said that on camera and just been like, this is an old fling, we've known each other from before and blah blah blah, like, but some way somehow I feel like we're not getting told the whole truth with this situation. But regardless, she does look very desperate and very unhinged with this. This is not the way to go, and it's looking like all she ever cared about was just being married, and it's quite sad. It's quite sad because she has a lot going for her, and I get it. Like, I think someone said she's 38. I forgot her age, but, you know, she might be at that age where, you know, society is looking and they're like, why is someone like her single? And she might feel a lot of insecurity about that. But this is where, you know, self-esteem and confidence. Oh, someone said 34. Yeah. Self-esteem, confidence, working on yourself. Marriage is not everything. Like, it's really, really good when it works, when it's with the right person. It's great. But my goodness, it's not everything. Like, it's really not that serious. It's okay. It's okay, girl. Like, you don't have to do this. You really don't have to go out like this. Like, it is okay. Singleness is not a curse. You can live your very best life. Like, I don't know, like, I just feel like the way that people covet marriage and the way that she has obviously coveted marriage is really, sad, and it speaks a lot for, like, her deep insecurity about, being single, and I feel like there's no need for it at all, because everyone's life is not gonna turn out the same, and we really need to start normalizing being okay with however your life turns out, whether it's single, married, with kids, without kids, like, it's really okay. This is not worth it. This is not worth it, and that guy is giving me guilt flashbacks, like, the bald firefighter on maps, I feel like that archetype needs to be banned. We don't need to see any more of these bald firefighters because this is not it never goes well. So I'm starting to feel like once you see that, that's an indicator that, like, we're in for a scam and we're in for a dust storm, so I'll leave that there.
Dang, not the firefighters taking a hit. Dang. My question would be, and I don't know if y'all thought of this as well. When I saw the whole thing, and I stopped looking at MM and being like, "Girl, you come in looking bad." Is this a deep response to the loss of her dad? I wonder if she's just looking for a man to be her anchor. Did that thought cross anybody's mind?
I don't know. I mean, no, it didn't cross my mind. But I mean, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it didn't really cross my mind either. Yeah.
That's what she was giving me, like, lost without her dad. And yes, the cousin is a very vocal male factor in her life and looks out for her. I'm wondering if she's trying to have this husband be that replacement. But I don't know, this whole Brandon thing, this whole light at the end of the tunnel, the whole production thing, the whole ring thing, it's just too much. We are barely 2 weeks past decision day. He's not divorced, and he's just going through a traditional divorce. She hasn't even got her papers together. She got the one-page note from Ike at the retreat. She hasn't even got her papers together. What are we doing? It's like habitual monogamous. People have to go from one relationship to another full-fledged, exclusive relationship. It's also giving that.
Yeah. You got more questions for us, Kojo? Because that was just limited to that.
That's fine. So obviously then, for MM, she also had a situation where, I don't know, should I say MM? I should. So I asked the guys about Brandon's red flags. I said about Brandon's red flags. What were the red flags that you noticed about Brandon's, not just the divorce, but I guess in terms of behavior, the divorce, if you want to all incorporating it all, what were the red flags you saw? And what do you think his actual angle is here as well, in terms of getting with MM so soon?
Is my service messed up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear you.
because
You good?
okay, it was cutting in. I mean, there was a
Oh,
lot
good.
of things. Some of these things may be unpopular. Some of them won't be. But if y'all know, I'm not gonna lead y'all astray. The obvious things were the speed that he was coming in, the love bombing, him. What this? Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Wait. Don't let the devil take away your voice, girl. Fight him. Shabadabasataya. Okay, she'll come back. Don't worry.
Is it still
She'll be
bad?
revived. Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Go for it.
Is it bad still?
No, I think it's okay. Try again.
Oh
Let's
my
see what
gosh.
happens.
I don't know. It keeps popping out. Okay. Y'all, okay, it looks like it's working now. I was saying the speed at which he was trying to do things, him being present, feeling the need to be present for filming. Why do you always need to be filmed? Why are you in every scene? Okay, y'all are not moving, so I can't tell my service is messing up. Okay, Elsid is moving.
No, sorry, we'll move you.
We hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't want to be dropping gems and this stupid thing come out. No, the fact that he feels like he needs to be in every scene. Why are you filmed? I mean, I don't even have to get to the proposing with no ring. And okay, so here's the unpopular part that some women may not get, because these are the same women that thought Kevin Samuels had no points. I need us as women to do some self-reflection. If you see a 6'2", 6'2", 6'3" man with a job, whether he has a house or not, coming to you acting like you're just the finest thing in the world and he just needs you, I need you to do some things. I need you to do some self-reflection. Why is this man after me like this? Is it for my looks? Is it for my beauty? Is it for my booty? Is it for my finances? I need you guys to do some self-reflection. The problem with MM is she never stopped to think, why does this 6'2" fine bald man want me so quickly? Why am I just the person that he just wants and needs? We have to do self-reflection. I don't know. To me, that was the biggest red flag. I would have been trying to figure out, why is this man so thirsty for me? Because I'm aware that a man who looks like that, who has his stuff together, doesn't need to be thirsty for any woman.
I mean, his motives are real obvious. He saw the apartment, he knows she's an NP. I mean, that's it. He knows that she's, I mean, I wouldn't call it desperate to go on maps at all, but like, depending on who you are, you might look at, making a move like that and think, wow, these people are really desperate to go on a show like that. I don't think that, but I can see how some people might. So he might look at her and be like, oh, wow, you're desperate enough to go marry a stranger. Well, hey, let's go ahead and get married and let me move into your apartment because I need a place to stay too. So his motives are really, really obvious to me. Like, it's like, I don't know. To me, I feel like it's just so plain, like it's in plain sight. It's obvious what his motives are. He wants to be on TV and he's looking for a come up with her. So I don't know. I thought it was obvious, but yeah.
He already lives there. I mean, I hate to break it to you. He breaking in either that couch or that second bedroom or with Emmett. I'm sorry, because the way he just waltzed in there when the girls were having drinks, and he just decides to spill everything on camera in front of the girls. And then I didn't even see you change your shoes, like you were going out with your fuzzy slippers. And what nagged me was she kept on saying we knew each other in grade school. He was a child. Have you known him all these years? Or the way you're trying to say it is now you know him as an adult. People change. People changed 5 years ago. I just didn't like it. And girl, if he's leaving his wife this way with 2 children, what in the heck do you think he's going to do with you? What in the heck do you think he's going to do? He will leave you. It doesn't matter if he marries you. It doesn't matter, apparently, if you have 2 children for him. He would still leave you. So all the finances, all the love, this, all the light at the end of the tunnel, he can say whatever. He is still going to pack his bags and crawl to a couch. So I'm sorry, whether this is fake or real, it comes off looking real bad. Comes off looking real bad. I was a staunch supporter of But in this foolishness, something just don't smell right with this. Something just don't smell right. And the fact you're accepting a proposal and his divorce ain't even printed out on paper yet. You at least have an excuse that you're in a marriage on TV. Why would you entertain this when his paperwork is not even solidified? You don't even know what he's doing with child support payments. You have not even met his children. You have not met his children. You could be throwing a curveball in his whole co-parenting situation. How is a soon-to-be ex-wife supposed to take seriously co-parenting? You're supposed to have this lady around my children? Are you serious? Yeah, Brandon and MM ain't thinking about anything in the future. Whether it's desperate, whether it's foolishness, whatever it is, it did not need to be seen on my television. It did not need to be seen. There's so much other drama that could have been there. She could have been just like Alan saying, hey, I'm back out dating. And that would have been sufficient. But you just want to do too much. Just want to do too much. Just could have just, I'm dated. I'm back out on the dating apps and I'm fine. I'm moving on. That is it. But now we got to, say that, it looks like you do want to plug and play. But it cannot be real in my eyes. But if it is real, it's foolishness. Absolute foolishness. And if anybody is seeing this, if anybody's in this situation, do not go with this man or someone in his situation. Divorce is not final. And even if someone says the divorce is final, you better ask them for the paperwork. You better see the paperwork and see the date it was docketed. Because people could say they're divorced all the time, but you better research that and ask them, I need to see a docketed divorce. Hey, I did that to my husband. I need to see a docketed divorce because I need to also see the details of that divorce.
He hadn't even filed yet because the divorce I found in Indiana, and I'm on my hotspot until my Wi-Fi resets. It didn't look like he filed until April, and it was finalized last year in September. So whenever this was shot, he had just filed or he hadn't filed yet. So this was all in 2024. And I don't know why the hell, if this is the same person, he was in the middle of Indiana, but I do know from a birdie that his divorce was in Indiana. So that's why I was looking, because he was on the streets apparently looking for an attorney that also was able to do divorces in Indiana. So I was able to find a case that was in Indiana. So on my little Simone, attorney Simone.
So he's probably out of a fire station out of Indiana. So he's probably not even an Illinois firefighter.
Right, which would explain why he was in Illinois being homeless or whatever else he had going on.
He doesn't have a medallion from the state of Illinois.
Yeah, so it looks like he probably was living in Indiana, which explains his kind of transient lifestyle. No, this part of Indiana was more than an hour. I'm not talking about no Gary.
And his 2 children are in Indiana.
Yeah, like deep in Indiana. Not no Gary, not no Hammond, not none of that. So very, very interesting situation. And honestly, the more and more MMs on my screen making them horrible faces, getting on my god dog nerves, the more I feel like that Ike maybe had more points than one, because honestly, I just can't even tolerate nothing that MM is doing. Everything she's doing is annoying the hell out of me. So
I was also very cringed out by the flaunting makeout session they were having, like at that get together. Like, it was very cringy. And I also feel like she loses the moral high ground by messing with the married man. Like, they're both like, I don't know, like, what are you doing, girl? What are you doing? Because you're also messing with a married man now too, technically, and he is with you, and you guys just couldn't wait for the divorce to be finalized. Like, it's just a lack of patience. It's too much. It's too much. And yeah, I am very annoyed to see her on my screen, and I wish she would just hurry up and get off the show, because she's given us Nigerian women a bad name. We're not like this. Like, this is just sad. This is just sad to see. So yeah.
soon as
So obviously, Brandon introduced himself to Ike as well. He introduced himself to Ike, let him know that he is the fiance of Emem. So I do want to get your perspective on him approaching Ike. I want to get your thoughts on that. Before you do, I'm going to read the super chats and then I'm going to let you guys fire away. Rose said, M tried to pull a David and it flopped. I hear that, Rose. Shout out to Rose, who's been just supporting financially as well. Nolo as well. Thank you. You guys have been sending super chats in, so I really do appreciate you as well. So thank you. And then Rose said, tricking on national television is crazy work. M done lost her mind. I hear it. 100%. And then Keisha L said, desperation was oozing off her body and Ike laughed. I hear that indeed. And shout out to Jean D. She said, most of us watch Married at First Sight because we want to witness beautiful love stories. Married at First Sight production should be sued for promoting trash. Like David and Madison, also I cringed watching Homeless Brandon and Emem. Well, shout out to Eugene D for the 10, and I appreciate the 10 as well. When it comes out golden, we gotta play one of my lovely clips. You know what I'm saying to you? So we appreciate it.
Yes, the new king.
That is right. Yes. Let's happen more. We appreciate you. So let us get back in. Let me ask a question again to the ladies once more. The question I'm asking is, Brandon approached obviously Ike. I want to get your perspective. What was your thoughts on that? Was this a power move by Brandon by approaching Ike? How did you see it? Was Ike pressed? What was your thoughts? I want to get your did Emem put him up to it? Was it a Will Smith and Jada situation with Chris Rock? Was it that kind of situation?
My
let me know your
question is,
thoughts.
why was he there? Why was he there? He shouldn't even have been there. That's where the desperation started. As a man, yeah, you greet every man in the room. So to me, as a man, once you're in the room, you greet every man in the room. But he's only in the room because he's trying to be seen. He's being thirsty. And Emem is thirsty for bringing him because the big dummy thinks she has a fine man. So she's not even thinking about nothing else. That's all she can see. So she wants to let Ike know that she has a fine man. But that doesn't work, sweetheart. Because Ike already knows you're a goofy. And Ike is sizing you up like I am. Ike already know that this man don't want you for real. That's the sad part that Emem doesn't get. Ike is laughing at Emem because Ike has already sized Emem up. Ike already knows that Emem is a goofy. Ike already knows what type of men that Emem can choose. So Ike is looking at this man like, I already know what this is. This is a man looking to be seen. He's going to get his moment. He's going to bounce. So he's laughing at her. If Ike actually thought that this was somebody like a good man, a person that was actually going to be in her life, he would have been pressed. He don't give a F. He's laughing at her. Emem is so effing goofy. She really needs somebody who really gonna tell her for real. Like, I just cannot.
You could see it based on his face right before. It was the entire setup. It's the only reason he was there. It was kind of like, oh, this is what I've been training for, kind of foolishness. It's like, Brandon, sit down. I mean, you shouldn't be there in the first place. You're not part of the cast. We don't see who Alan's dating coming through. I mean, production was trying to use this as a moment, as we know, but it looked real foolish. And I'm sorry, it may be, just my ear. That whole, thanks boss, that sounded real goofy to me. And I was like, Brandon, go sit in the corner, please. And don't come out till Emem calls you, because that was foolish. And to be naked in front of everyone, it was absolutely cringe. Emem, you come out looking real bad, real sad. And it was like, thank goodness, like David and Madison was there to take some heat, because you look real foolish. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, girl. You look foolish. And Brandon, you look like you're desperate to sleep on a new couch. That's all it looked like.
Yeah, and for such a built man, he was looking so weak in that whole interaction because honestly, like the strong move would have been to just introduce himself calmly, shake Ike's hand if he wanted to, and just give him a very generic greeting, and then gone back and minded his business with MM. That would have actually been the power move. But to sit there and go, "Oh, excuse me, I don't think you understand. I'm MM's fiance," and like to do all of that makes him look really, really weak. And yeah, she was looking very goofy, and she's doing all of this for a man that does not care. Like, every interaction that MM is having with Ike post the divorce scene, she's been losing her power. And then to go so far as to apologize to this man, while you're also trying to flaunt this new fake relationship in front of him. Like, it was just giving all sorts of silliness and middle schooler, and unfortunately, she was given validity to some of the things that Ike was saying as far as wanting, plug and play, um, husband, and she's pretty much feeding into all of that, and she's losing all of her power in the process. Like, she is down bad, 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 bad. And yeah, guys do size you up. They size you up, and how you conduct yourself is it it matters. Like, it truly, truly matters. And if she would have just bit her tongue, had some reserve, and just lived her best life, which is the best revenge that you can do. Like, the greatest revenge is not like getting the last word in, or getting your lick back, or trying to prove that you are innocent. It's actually just moving forward and living your best life and paying that person dust. Like, that will eat someone up even more. And the scenes that throughout the season that I've noticed where Ike has actually like seemed like he was about to even like get a rise out of himself was when she was paying him dust, so, and that was very few and far between. But if she would have just continued to do that, or behaved, taken a note from Karla and how Karla has conducted herself, which I think has been to perfection, honestly, she really, really could have come out of this looking a lot better. But she's just every single scene just making herself look worse and worse and worse. And yeah, the best revenge truly is just moving on. Like, you have no idea how much that really irritates people. It's just moving on with your life. And if I was a friend of hers, that's what I would advise her, because this is not a good look. And it's just embarrassing. It's secondhand embarrassment every time.
And what type of man sits there and lets their fiance, quote unquote, apologize to they ex-husband who's not an ex-husband yet, and talk about how much they really care and it's all about love? That man didn't care nothing about what MM was saying, because long his check cash, he don't care what she say or what she do. That's when I knew it was all a ruse, a scheme that Todd set up. Because I'm like, what? Why are you standing there apologizing to Ike? Talk about you really care, and can we talk in private, girl? And I'm gonna say this, and this may be the most male identified thing y'all done heard me say on this platform today. I'm so sorry. I'm Team Ike at this point, and I never thought I would get here. No, I am. If Ike had to look at MM in those dumb behind faces, in those antics, and everything that she's doing, I would be pissy with her too. Actually, I would be more pissy than Ike. I would be more pissy. Y'all can say I'm tripping. I don't care. MM has got on my nerves. She has got on my last nerves. My last nerve. And when I say I'm Team Ike, Ike is still a goddamn fool. He's still got a personality disorder, and he still needs to see that lady. But with all that being said, if I had to deal with MM and them faces for one day, I would have been so much worse than Ike. I would have been so much worse than Ike. I swear to everything. MM has got on my effing nerves. I'm agitated by her by 1 week, let alone 8 weeks.
Are you saying you would have used his vocabulary too? I don't think you're saying that though, CWAY.
No, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have tried to ruin her career. I wouldn't try to ruin her career, but I definitely would have told her to get the hell on. She is agitating. And I don't like agitating people, to me. Like, me personally, like, I can deal with a lot of things, but agitating people, I have no tolerance for. MM is agitating. No.
I hear
And
you.
Ike doesn't have the words. Ike doesn't have the word. Like, I have the words, right? I have the vocabulary. I have the ability to express myself. Ike, because he got a little personality disorder to him, he got a couple disorders to him. He doesn't know how to communicate what he's experiencing. So instead, he comes off like he's come out, or he's always on the run. He's on the run because he doesn't know how to talk. If he was able to verbalize the type of BS that MM was doing, he probably would have been able to speak, but he doesn't know how to talk. MM is not regulated. She's deregulated. She's not stable, and she is also, I'm not trying to put her on a spectrum, but she's on somebody's spectrum. If y'all don't want to say she's on a spectrum, but she is not regulated. And can you imagine what Ike was going through?
Just like we can imagine what Ike was putting her through. We can totally imagine what Ike was putting her through as well.
Ike probably told her week 2 he was tired of her, and then MM going to send him a 4-page letter every day. MM's one of those people who doesn't catch a hint. Ike told her two weeks in that he didn't want to be bothered with her. MM, can we talk now? Can we talk now? Can we talk now? Ike literally ran to another state. Can we talk now? Can we talk now? Honestly, MM's lucky that I didn't completely lose it on her. Like, stop texting me.
Okay, I'm going to take the Sean stance of this, and let's not go too far. Just because, one person is acting a certain behavior does not justify the other person acting in a particular way.
I didn't say that, okay? Though.
I know you're not saying that. I'm just equating it. It can be taken as such. I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just trying to.
I like to think that most people in this chat understand nuance, so I'm not gonna overstate myself for people who don't get what I'm saying. But I will repeat myself one more time. What I'm saying is, I think they're two problematic people. But I've always thought they were two problematic people. But at one point, I was more on MM's side out of the two problematic people. But at this juncture, her bringing a homeless man that she done paid for that ring and whatever else to the show. At this point, out of the two dysfunctional people, I feel more aligned with Ike, and that's what I'm saying, because MM has really pushed it too effing far, in my opinion. She has agitated the living crap out of me for the last 3 or 4 weeks that I've seen her on my screen. So I personally feel more aligned with Ike. Now, if other people feel more aligned with MM, then fine, but she has pissed me off.
I feel you, CWAY, because she pissed me off too. It's giving strong pick-me energy. Very, very, very annoying. But I'm going to take a note from Madison and say I'm Switzerland in this. I can't quite get on Ike's side because he had the nerves to call her an a-hole. Okay, and when we start cussing at people and doing all of that, like, I cannot get on board with you. However, I am Switzerland, as Madison would say, because both of these two are extremely problematic. And yeah, MM is not well adjusted at all. Like, yeah, I totally misread that one. I thought she was gonna calm down. I thought she was gonna level out. I thought she was just having a moment. I thought she just needed a moment. But no,
she's still bothering the man. Why are you trying to talk to him with your new paid for fiance, talking about, can we talk in private? That's my problem with MM. Now she's playing in Ike's face. If the man is so crazy, if the man is so diabolical, leave the man alone. Why are you still bothering him with your fake fiance?
And that's what pissed me off too. And that's why I can't get on board with her anymore. And I had to be, I had to be in neutral territory because she is unhinged. She's very unhinged. And I do think she might be on the spectrum for real. Like, I really do. I think he has an undiagnosed personality disorder, and there's something going on neurologically with her as well. And I don't even mean to be dramatic with that, but I mean, this is not normal behavior.
This may not seem like normal behavior, but there are a lot of women out here acting like MM. That's how we get the whole thirsty behavior connotation. Unfortunately, there are a lot of ladies acting like MM. Unfortunately.
Well, I no longer have any patience for her. There's plenty of people that are going to cape for her. I'm just no longer one of those people. And a lot of people don't see what people are doing because they do it in silence. MM has clearly, from this behavior, was up to a lot of antics her god dog self. And we're only just now seeing it. What I believe, though, is that even if people have issues, nobody reacts in a vacuum. And people were trying to think that Ike was just reacting in a vacuum. And I knew that didn't make sense. I knew it didn't make sense. But see, unlike some people, I'm not the type of people who are going to vindicate bad behavior just because someone else is bad. Those are people who lack nuance. I'm not on team David is all good because Michelle was bad. I don't think like that. So I'm not vindicating Ike. But what I'm saying is that MM was rolling in the mud with this BS, and it's coming out now. So they both can get the hell on, in my opinion.
Some of these comments are really annoying the crap out of me because y'all are acting like y'all want blood now, and you guys need to chill because she is really like she is getting cooked right now, okay? Like she's getting a lot of heat, and y'all are doing too much. People are like, oh no, it's not enough. What do you guys really want? Are y'all okay? Like for real, are you guys okay?
Don't fall for it, Lin. Don't fall for it,
They want more. They want more for MM. I ain't got no more for it.
They want people to like freaking boil her in hot water. Like, what do you guys want? Are y'all okay?
Ladies, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
No, because
don't fall into the chat.
Don't make me enter my villain era and throw out my cape for MM again now. Y'all are doing too much. Y'all need to chill.
Lin, where's the squeaky toy?
No, well, to Linlin's point, I don't want to drag her. I feel like I had to get this off my chest because I've been mad now for 3 weeks. And so I had to get this off my chest because I've been fighting it. Every episode, I've been, on the shield of the sisterhood, on the shield of I'm always going to be a girl's girl. I have held my tongue when it comes to MM, and I can't do it no more. And so I really had to get it off, and I'm done with it. And I hope she sits on the bench and she heals. And Ike, just to be clear, Ike still ain't gonna find nobody. He's still crazy as hell too.
So we're saying the hard truth is part of the sisterhood. You're not going to leave her out there without hearing some honest truth. That is part of being sisterhood.
Yeah. Well, I held it in. This is the last week. It's almost the last week. I have said very little.
Oh no, you got the reunion. The reunion. There's a whole lot coming out of the reunion. I'm just preparing you.
Yeah, but there's something about bringing a broke boyfriend / fiance that just put me over the edge. Like I just can't. I just really can't.
So no props. No props meaning no additional, appendages to be brought to the show.
If it was a real fiance, then stun on them. But this what happened a week after, 2 weeks after?
Yeah, not even 2 weeks after. It's not even 14 days past decision day. I think it's day 9.
Yeah, then no. I mean, because you're playing with engagement. You already got married on this show, and people think that's playing with marriage. And now you're playing with this. You're playing with a real family, a real divorce that's going on, and you're parading this situation around. And I don't play with stuff like that. And I think it's just real goofy. And then it's like you're not having any type of discernment. What I do hope is that they linked up together and they paid to, he agreed to do this. Then if that's the case, she's bad for another reason, but whatever. But if she really got bamboozled by this bald head homeless man, that's really going to upset me because it's like, MM, did you not learn nothing? And I'm starting to think that's why she brings everybody by that cousin, because everybody knows that MM is touched. Now it's all making sense. She brings people to that cousin because that cousin and his wife and the other people are the only people who have any sense. And that's why he's so protective, because he knows that she's touched.
So you think he's given up now because he was kind of laissez-faire? He was like, this is all he said is this is a little too soon. But you know, Brandon's my boy. It's sounding
because he's not
almost
gonna-
like he's
he's not gonna
co-signing the foolishness.
I think because
I'm
he's not
sorry?
gonna keep going back and forth with her. If I'm him, I'm not
Okay.
gonna keep going back and forth with you. If you want to be silly at this point, stop bringing these people to me. I wish you the best of luck.
I think our half an hour is out. I'll bring the gentleman back on. Wow, ladies, what a festivity of conversation. What a rambunctious and vibrant conversation by the ladies here, full of etiquette and quite eloquent points that were brought to the table. In fact, the table is even struggling to contain the intellect that you guys brought there. I can't lie, I enjoyed it. I can't lie, I enjoyed it. Listen, no, for real, I actually enjoyed it. It was actually a really good conversation to hear from the ladies' perspective, I think. Because obviously we had a men's conversation yesterday, so it's interesting to hear the women's perspective on that as well. So it'll be good to hear together as well. So I'll bring the fellas back up so we can have the last few minutes and have them their say as well. Now I'm just going to say it. That conversation sounded a lot like Eastern. I just gotta be honest with you. Y'all need to give some flowers to Eastern because that conversation sounded exactly like
Not happening. Not.
Hey, I thought it was Eastern talking. Honestly, I thought it was Eastern talking. For the last at least 10 minutes was like, I thought it was Eastern speaking. I can't lie to you.
No.
All the points that you made, he's made. She's a little bit touched. She shouldn't react the way she should react. He said all these points. Y'all were crucifying him. I just want to, I'm gonna big myself up, obviously for backing him.
Who crucified him though? Who crucified him for his opinion on
the patriarchy police?
The panel and the audience. But I mean, listen, hey, I'm just saying. I think it would sound a lot like Eastern. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Hey,
I mean, but some people weren't happy with me. Some people weren't happy with me, but that's fine. I mean, a lot of people feel the way I feel. Some people don't. That's their right. I'm done with MM. I'm not playing with her no more. But some people can keep playing with her. I'm not.
I understand. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Continents are meeting.
That's Twitter.
No, it was actually a good conversation. I think, like I said, I think the ladies can hold the ladies accountable well, and just like the men, I like when the men are holding the men accountable. So I think we're making good on those things. So I appreciate the points that the ladies brought towards the table as well, and hearing your thoughts. Obviously, last few minutes, we're going to give about 10 to 15 minutes. So everyone keep their points short so we can get as much conversation going in, because our 3 hours is coming up and we're going to be a little bit over it. Obviously, this MM, Ike, Brandon, the situation, we're going to see obviously the reunion. We don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know if does anybody know if they're actually married yet? If she actually is, I think there was talk about, or she's still engaged in that space. Engaged. I don't know if they're still engaged. Okay, so they're still engaged. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Divorce is not final yet.
Oh, okay, it's not final yet. Okay, that's fair. I mean, it does take a little bit while sometimes as well. I definitely
his divorce is final. But from what I saw.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, his divorce is final.
Oh,
and I
thought MM got an annulment. So if they ain't married just because the contract up.
Oh wait, I thought his one was still because I know
at the time of the reunion.
Oh, okay, at the time okay. But so now they actually looking at it, see where you're saying that it seems like the legal paperwork has been done for it.
Yeah, it looks like
because you saw the preview. The next stunt is going to be him asking Pastor Cal to marry them at the reunion. Brandon. Okay. Yeah, so that's.
And when was the reunion filmed?
Oh yeah.
Months ago. I think it was October or November.
Okay, so last year.
The divorce was finalized in September.
God damn. But I guess what do you expect? Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to run and get married in November. Okay.
That's a bit quick.
Well, I mean, she got a lot of money. She got an apartment, and she's stupid. So Wouldn't you get married too?
I mean, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
she was stupid, but
What would you call that?
I'd say, listen, I think she lacks discernment. I'd rephrase it. Yes, I think she lacks discernment.
CWAY was trying to hold the sisterhood accountable. I appreciate that, CWAY. I just, who are we gonna talk about first? Like, who are we talking about in terms of, because there's three people. Brandon is diabolical because he proposed without a ring. He had our good sister, ma'am. Well, y'all's good sister, ma'am.
And then she went and paid for it, allegedly.
But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was he had proposed and her leave out wasn't blended in with her hair.
Not the leave out.
Her nail, like if you gonna propose to your significant other, you need to wait until they're like you got to do it and make sure that they are in looking tip top shape. Nails, everything. Like I don't think that's the most becoming thing that you would do as a fiance or potential fiance is have her out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool, and you gonna propose in the middle of in two different places. I'm not gonna do that, and I hope that if there are guys who are planning on it and proposing, make sure that she has plenty of forewarning, or not even forewarning, just like make sure she put together, because I didn't like that like in the moment where she's supposed to be the happiest. If this is gonna be your moment, you have her looking like no. Make sure that she's looking presentable, she's looking good, she ain't looking like she just got up. And that's my biggest takeaway with Brandon, was that he didn't do that. He just cared about his moment and his little fake Prada jumpsuit. Also, he's 42 in my notes. He's 42, she's 34. They somehow met in 5th or 6th grade. How that makes sense, Sway? How that makes sense? The math ain't mathing on that. He is a real estate agent in Indiana, so I did understand that he has been staying over there for a while because I saw his Jordans in the back. His Jordans were in the back whenever they had this film with the dog. My grand scheme, and I'm gonna put this all together, is that the long-term relationship that Emem had before she got on the thing with Mavs was Brandon. He was in his relationship with his wife, yada, yada, yada. She gets on the show, doesn't work out. But I knew, because he probably asked her, like, when was your last relationship? He's like, oh, well, it just happened, didn't pan out. He caught the wind that she just wanted to be married. It trying to change some things. Either way, fast forward now they're trying to lie and make this thing seem like it's this like love interest that just came out of nowhere. No, I think they've been dating for a long time prior to this, but he was in a relationship, and it is what it is. Like the cousin, he seemed a little bit too familiar. It just seemed like a lot of stuff was going on, but it's all weird. And yeah, I mean, is a lot delusional, but the sisterhood failed her because Camille and Karla didn't call her out, didn't say, hey girl, I wouldn't do that if I was you. They just said, and which is, textbook sisterhood failing.
You really milked. You was like almost there, and then you just took it too far, per usual. The streets are talking though that apparently she knew him before, and that allegedly she was a side chick to on that long drive, that 10-year drive that he was on. That is what the streets are saying, allegedly.
Are you telling me that Easton's theory is correct? Even I didn't agree with that. Are you telling me it could have some credence?
Easton ain't the only one with that. The streets been saying that.
God have mercy.
The streets said that she was a passenger on that 10-year drive. Yep, that's what the streets are allegedly saying.
Let her be pregnant at the reunion, and I'm gonna be. You gonna call me John the Baptist? That's what you gonna call. If let her be pregnant at the reunion, y'all gonna call me the second coming? Because I'm telling y'all, I be knowing.
But I don't really know what's worse, that she was a passenger allegedly on a 10-year drive, or that he popped up afterwards and just pulled all this stunt. I mean, I really don't know which one's worse. To be honest, I mean, they're both horrible. But Easton, that whole thing, leave Karla and what's his face out of it. At least they had the discernment, as Kojo would say, to say that it was a hot mess. But after that, if somebody's set on being silly, then you just gotta let them be silly. What are you supposed to do?
But they didn't tell her. They
How
didn't
you know
say
they
anything.
didn't tell her? They just didn't tell her on camera. I'm sure they told her.
Okay, well, that's true.
I'm sure they told her. They had to. So,
if Karla told Madison she was grimy to her face, do you really think she wouldn't tell MM to her face?
She let
definitely told her.
possibly, but she also was sitting on some information that she knew about them cheating. She knew I think Karla knew that they was doing some grimy stuff beforehand, but she just needed to wait a little bit. Sean, your wheels are turning. You over here thinking.
So what you're saying is that Karla couldn't hold it down, you know. So although she's a hold it down person, she chose not to hold it down with
Right.
Like I said, she needs help as well. It's understandable.
What are your thoughts, Sean?
I don't. This is a dumpster fire y'all have started, and I'm not even gonna jump into this. Y'all are just going a level I didn't even think y'all were gonna go. You know,
which level did we miss? What level? What level?
You didn't miss anything. You covered more levels than I thought anybody would ever go to. You know,
not being in the passenger seat.
The passenger seat. I mean, everything. I mean, you tore her up. I was not expecting that. I mean, listen.
I'm fed up with her. You really
she said she's Team Ike. She said she's Team Ike, bro.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I was busy, and I'm glad I walked away. Because I was cleaning up Abby's, you know, her little brilliant pad, which is a little, you know, thing, her wee pad. Because all I heard was you just tearing her up. So, listen, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, you know? I don't necessarily share the same harsh sentiments. You know, I do think that absolutely it was very cringy watching this whole thing play out. I think, you know, she is definitely rebounding to hell with this situation with Brandon. I do, unlike David and Madison, I do wish them well, though. You know, I think she deserves love. It's just misguided. And I think she needs to go see the lady. They both need to see the lady because they're moving way too fast. And that car he was talking about and going in two different roads, he's speeding. He's speeding right now. And I think she's just along for the ride because she wants to be chosen. She wants to be loved. She's never been, you know, loved before. So I feel bad for her. I have more empathy than I have vim for her because she just wants to be loved. And I think people like that, when they are so desperate to be loved and cared for, they make bad decisions. And I think she's making very bad decisions. You know, but I wish the best for her, and I hope she does get some help. She gave Ike a nice list of therapists. I hope she's seeing some of the, you know, one or two of them and running some of these decisions past them. Those are my thoughts.
Well, that's beautiful. That's why I wanted you to talk, because I think, you know, life is about balance. Whereas I feel more anger, you feel more empathy. And so, you know, I'm sure the answer is somewhere in between. So, you know, I'm sure she needs both of those things. But I think too many people are leaning a little bit towards you in her life, feeling bad for her. And I think she needs to be, you know, snatched up a little bit so she understands what she's doing. Because it's very dangerous to be book smart and to have money and to be that silly minded, lacking discernment, whichever you want to call it. You're just set up for people to scam. And you're in Chicago. And I know in Chicago, Indiana, whatever scammer, when I seen one, before he even talked, when he pulled up on the screen, I said, that's a Chicago scammer. He didn't even talk. And I knew. I'm like, come on, ma'am. It's like God gave you these brains for you to let a man eat off of your plate.
You just passionate about it. A ma'am is like Alan is to me. I think you see an area that there's a deficiency with some of the women, and you just like, you know, you trying to give them some tough love and trying to educate them. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I think you're doing the Lord's work.
Man, you must be an architect in your trade, because you're gonna try to build a bridge and draft it. If you don't do anything else, you will build a damn bridge, and it's the bridge to hell. I don't know how you piece that together.
He's always doing that. That's why I said he should. If he was a defense attorney, he would make so much money because all he do is just bring confusion. You know, the best defense attorneys, they actually win cases by confusing the jury to the point where you don't know if you're coming or going. That's Easton. Well, you don't leave having an opinion. You just leave confused.
You two are agreeing more than you like to think. He was tough on him, man. I can't even lie to you. Even for me, I was like, damn, you was going in. You was going in. You was, yeah. You and your twin was matching energies. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had connected to the Power Rangers grid. Y'all transformed.
Well, it's also like once you get on my, there's very few people that we done talked about that actually get on my nerves. She has actually got on my nerves, so I think that's just what it is. Like her presence on the screen was starting to agitate me, and so this was the result. Most people I just talk about, I don't feel no way, but yeah, but she has elevated to a special place of agitation, so it is what it is.
I hear you. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Listen, look, my time is out. I need to go and pray. So we were
praying about it. What you praying for?
Listen, I gotta pray for these blessings to keep coming down on my head. Okay, do you know the spiritual warfare that's happening? Hey, there are things that are happening in the realms of the spirit. You have to remove those demons. You have to understand. I have to be in the realms of the spirit. You know what I'm saying to you? My bucket hat will come back, but you won't see the bucket hat. You'll just feel the presence. You know what I'm saying, CWAY? You get what I'm going?
No, it is. There's a lot of spiritual. You got to stay grounded. You got. Oh, can I give a Pretty Little Thing update?
Oh yes, what happened to the Pretty Little Thing?
Okay, y'all. So Pretty Little Thing today. A lot of the Brits, they got their attire. They got their the orders in from the website, and y'all, it's the same material. You can hear the cheapness through the screen. You could just hear the crunch, crunch, crunch. So Pretty Little Thing literally rebranded. Is giving out the same plastic clothes. They are diabolical. I just want to put that out there. I was waiting to see if somebody was going to order it. Shout out to my British queens for, doing the Lord's work to order the clothes. PLT is cooked. I just had to update y'all.
Thank you very much, CWAY. We appreciate the bulletin. I need a little sound effect after. I'm gonna have to get you a little section, a little announcements toward the end. I'm gonna get a little sound effect for you.
Wait. I think some of us are a little confused. So Pretty Little Thing rebranded from what?
They rebranded from like club BBL attire, kind of concert attire, more like cheap, more closer to like a cheaper Fashion Nova or cheaper Forever 21. And so that was their style before. You never shopped on Pretty Little Thing, Lillian?
I've seen the attire, so I'm familiar with it. But yeah, so now they're trying to class it up or something.
And so now then they rebranded to like something like a Meshki, a Zara.
Oh no!
And they rebranded, right? So everyone was like, "Okay, you rebranded, and your stuff went from 10 pounds, as they would say, to 70 pounds. You're finna give us Meshki, all that type of, kind of quality. Give us Meshki quality. Give us, Aritzia quality." And y'all, it's horrible. Like the videos that people posted, it was like 3 videos I watched today, and it's horrible quality. Like you can literally see it through the screen.
Oh wow!
So
I need to check the fabric details before they purchase, because usually it's there. Like
Well, I think they were just trying to see if it felt different, and apparently,
dang,
it doesn't. So,
well, make sure you guys follow Steve.
Pretty Little Thing. Oh, I'll say it's like a Shein. Shein, Fashion Nova. Pretty Little.
It's fast fashion, basically. Fast fashion. Well, okay. Let me get Sean to do the benediction, and we can. I'm sure we'll chop it up behind the scenes. PLT. And more. I like things. Master Sean, Deacon Sean, Master Davis.
My flabber is gasted. I don't even. What I tell you, those last 20 minutes just did me in. I even had notes on the paper, and I don't even know what to do. But I'm gonna give it the good Lord's try. Pray my strength in the.
We can't hear you.
Sean, you're muted.
The Lord said we don't want to hear
again.
I'm flabbergasted. I'm out there.
Lord said, start over.
Woo. I ain't even lying this time, you know? So nevertheless, I think we had some good discussions tonight. Some of the messages, you know, just take it in love, you know, just chew the meat and spit out the bones, you know, because some of it is harsh and you don't want to choke on these bones because you'll definitely choke on some of these words. But we'll start off with Juan and Karla. You know, sometimes lovers can be friends, but sometimes they can't. And we just got to respect that boundary. Sometimes the boundary is there for a reason because the relationship needs to end. Camille and Thomas, we needed a love story, and I think we have one, but also relationships require balance. It does require both people to work together, not at the same time all the time, but both people do need to give and take. So please keep balance. Don't be silenced. Don't suffer in silence, neither one. So Thomas, please speak your piece. You know, if there's peace to be spoken, speak it. We talked about Alan and Madison. Listen, you know, if you got urges, we all do. The world don't need to know. Keep your urges between the two consenting folks, or however many folks are involved in fulfilling your urges. Keep them to yourself. No need to make announcements. David and Madison, you know, audacity is not for sale. I know the economy is tough and we're struggling, but it's not on the shelves of Costco. So please tuck your audacity, have humility. We prefer humility around here in relationships. If you want your relationship to be successful, especially if it started on shaky ground, be humble. As Kendrick said, be humble. Then we have, last but not least, Emem and Brendan and IKECHI. So many words. I think we heard a lot of them, but just see the lady. You know, when you've come out of traumatic situations, see the lady. Don't monkey bar from relationship to relationship. Don't prove unnecessary points. See the lady. Get healed before you transition. Rebounds are best for the basketball court and not in our relationships. Back to you, Coach.
I appreciate that, sir. Benediction always on point as well. It's a gift. Listen, audience members, thank you so much for joining us today. We had 550 of you guys in, so it was a good vibe. And I'm loving the memberships as well that you guys are involved in. It just makes we got to love a bit more of a community as well going forth. So I appreciate that as well. I was meant to have tonight the 100 Club, but because we've got the Married at First Sight, so I'm doubling up. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till the Married at First Sight finishes. So we got Thursday 3, because trying to do that 2 lives, I realized I'm burning myself out. It's a lot of energy. So we'll wait till Married at First Sight finishes, which will probably be towards the end of March. Then we can do our 100 Club on a Thursday again. But listen, I really, really appreciate everybody who was here, who contributed. I think I haven't read out a super chat, so I do apologize. There was 2 super chats I think I haven't read, or 1. Oh, what? 2 more? Yes. Rose said M is female. Alan, I hear that. And David, tricking for love, successful in life but trash at dating. I hear that. I very hear that. Shout out to Coley again. Says, hey, hey y'all, I'm late. Replay gang. Listen, just for that, you're golden, and I gotta.
Yes, the new king.
I appreciate Cody, honestly, always coming through, even on a replay gang. Much love for that as well. So we'll have the 100 Club after probably I think in a couple of weeks, because I think Man at First Sight will be done. So those of you who don't know about the 100 Club, we have basically we have the conversations behind the scene. So it's more relationships and stuff like that, but behind the scenes. So you guys have a bit more of a safe place. It's not online, although it is online, but it's on Zoom. So it's not a live video or anything like that. It's just us congregating, having fun, talking about certain issues, and just having a good time, man. Do you know what I mean? So if you're somebody who loves conversations, you love having to, you like talking and stuff, then 100 Club is for you. So we appreciate those of you. You know what I'm saying to you? Yes, no YouTube rules. You can say what you need to say. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. So audience members, I tonight it was been a festivity of conversations. There's been eclectic, different viewpoints, hasn't it? And has been a right old banterous time as well. So I appreciate the family for chopping it up tonight. Good to have the ladies have their section as well. It's quite fun actually seeing the ladies chop it up. Maybe we need to do more of those. Yeah, you know what? Let the ladies. You know what? Yeah, we need to give them some protected time to be also to chop up some of these things. You know what I'm saying to you? I think it'll be fun. So I appreciate you know, the ladies for giving their real thoughts as well. So my last thing is Friday night. I know Jay and El Cid, you guys going live again? So Jay and El Cid, we're going live. What time is it, El Cid?
9:05 EST, right after Ready to Love.
I love that. So right after Ready to Love, guys, El Cid and Jay will be going live once more again, talking about Ready to Love. Please go and support. Leave comments on there, leave likes as well. The same way you guys do for me, please do it for them as well. Show that support as a community. So if you're on their channel as well, like, but also leave a comment. It just helps. I know you're in the chats as well, but when you leave a comment, it also helps with the algorithm and analytics. Also, just it's a visual thing. When people come past the video and they can see the comments, it's even more fun. You know what I'm saying to you? So please support them tomorrow. And then obviously Saturday, we've got Ready to Love. We'll be talking about obviously the latest episode, and then Sundays are reunion conversation around Love is Blind, right? Because I think Love is Blind is tonight, right? The reunion is tonight. It's today. Sorry, not tonight. Today.
The reunion is Sunday. Friday today. Friday is the wedding. It's just the wedding episode.
Oh, okay, so reunion's on this Sunday. So it's this Sunday the reunion is as well. Hey, they don't let us rest. Okay, so I guess we'll probably do a panel. Maybe we do a panel on a Monday or whatever. Because boy, anybody, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Depends what time. It depends what time it goes shows up. If it shows up early, then we can do a panel on Sunday. I'll check the times and then I'll let you guys know.
8 or 9 p.m. EST.
Say again.
It's in the evening, either 8 or 9 p.m. EST is the reunion.
Yeah, that sounds like a late night. Sounds like a late night. Okay,
I mean, you could do the wedding episode and then you could do a live on the wedding episodes.
That's fair. We'll try. I think we can do
on Sunday.
It might have to be. We might have to try and see. We'll see. Depends how strong I'm feeling. If I'm feeling strong enough, then we'll look to do it. But it's already late, 8 or 9, and then we're gonna be going to do a live after. We've all got work to do.
Forget a live. You got to do that the next day, unless if you want to do a live.
I'll probably do it next day. We'll probably do it on a Monday then. We'll do it on a Monday. We'll do a late one. After I've done my TikTok live, we'll do a late one. Okay. Yes. So audience members, thank you so much as well. And we appreciate y'all because it's a vibe and the energy is righteous. I'm loving the energy you guys are giving in the chat. I'm seeing more men as well. The names are coming up. They're just a little bit more quiet, but they be coming up. So I see them. So if you're in here and you're a man, please don't be silent, bro. Like, I love to have you guys on the men's side of things as well. Because if you're watching these shows, we have the men's panel on a Wednesday when we talk about Married at First Sight. It'd be good to have you guys in here. You know what I'm saying to you? The more men, the merrier. Because like I said, if we formulate that good community, it's a way to also be influential in our community and show people a way to go as well. So, it's vibes, you know what I'm saying to you? Plus, we have our chats after as well. And the men's chat after is funny. So, but anyway. All right, audience, thank you so much as well. Those of you who've already started plugging the link on the coaching, I appreciate you guys as well. Please keep going ahead and booking yourselves in. I have a few spots left open for those of you. I did say that I would try to do some, I call it pro bono, but I'm still getting paid. I ain't gonna lie to you. But you can pay what you have. You know what I'm saying? To whoever's in your hand. There's a few spaces that I've left open for that. The rest of y'all, please. The link is there for the full price. Okay, all right. And I've done some extra work this time around. So I've got worksheets. I've got the workbook that you guys are going to work through. So each time we do a session, there's a worksheet that follows after immediately. So I've been working around the clock trying to bring out. That's why I put on the screen the other day, and I put it on there. But yeah. So if you guys want some coaching, want to be a place of healing, growth, and transformation, I'm the guy. You know what I'm saying to you. And those, yes, Married at First Sight Australia, 3 p.m. EST. So we appreciate it. I have to put up a little thing on the community page because it's a lot of announcements. Shoot, let me pass all these announcements to see where at this point. All right, audience, I appreciate y'all. Stay locked, stay loaded. Oh wait, CWAY, you got any things coming up? I apologize.
Well, first I want to say when the live ends, can y'all leave a comment while it's fresh on your mind? We love to hear your thoughts. A lot of times y'all don't leave a comment. So when it ends, leave a comment, start a conversation, because this conversation has been super fun. So please leave a comment. No, just hit my regular TikTok. TikTok, it's CWAY's World Esquire. I'm also check out my YouTube. I upload stuff on YouTube Shorts and on YouTube. So subscribe to my YouTube if you're into the pop culture and the sports content. March Madness is coming up. Everything basketball, everything sports. I've also been recently talking about some other pop culture stuff. Anthony Edwards, his baby mama drama. Different different issues that pop up. I've been talking about different issues. So thanks to Go to Africa and the other folks over here who hang out with me on my TikTok or my Instagram, all same name. I appreciate the support.
No, we appreciate that too. I remember one time somebody told me they ain't doing YouTube. It's not for them. And look at where they are now.
I'm still barely
it
doing it, but
you still doing it.
Like the shorts. Yes, I do the
shorts. I appreciate you, CWAY. Keep going because you're gonna blow up real quick. I'm telling you. But audience, we appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Oh, shout out to Corey. He said, listen, rest up, fam. I appreciate that, Corey, as well. It's good to see you on here, bro. It's good to see the men on here, man. I can't lie to you. It's nice to see that the men are on here and congregating. We need more. Mandem, if you're in the chat, I do see you come up. Please keep commenting, man. You know what I'm saying to you? I know sometimes it may feel a bit daunting because, there's a lot of women in this place. But listen, the more Mandem we have, it's nice to see. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm encouraged.
Did you Pop the Balloon review for the men?
You know what?
Most recent Pop the Balloon was T. Rose just made me think about it. It was pretty good.
I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, do you know what? I haven't even thought about that. After the reunion, I think we can start doing that. Maybe the Mandem can start reviewing some of those stuff then. You know what I mean? So that there's also some stuff we can start doing. So yeah, okay. I like that. That's a good idea. We get some sound men on. Pop the Balloon is crazy.
It's honestly one of my favorite shows.
Someone said the other day that she looked like she got too many wrinkles, and that ended it for him. But we're gonna go.
That was so evil. I'm blunt. I would never do that.
He said it in a sweet voice, apparently, but yeah, I guess it didn't go well at all. Probably shouldn't say that if you're gonna try and let someone down gently. Definitely was a harsh let down. Okay, let me play my clip, and then we're gonna get out of here because we need to go. But I appreciate it, audience. Thank you so much.
Are you done?
Little black book, you know what time it is. Time it is.